Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Blue Water Aquatic Center for the Section 3AA Swimming Championships. Let's start this evening by introducing the teams, captains, coaches, and meet officials. Starting with your Apple Valley Eagles, your captains are Dylan Amarabandu, Bridger Cook, Hovind Langseth, and Josh Lee. Diving coaches Carson Schulberg, assistant coaches Morris Shea and Gabby Pearson, and the head coach is Scott Pearson. Captains for the Eagan Wildcats, Neelan Ambalam, Ben Currens, and Tom Keller. Your diving coach is Amy Carlson, assistant coach Tyler Husko, and the head coach is Chris Morgan. For your Eastridge Raptors, your captains are Jacob Eastman, Morgan Gillard, Nathan Longstrot, Ethan Olson, and Tolkien Perry. Diving coach Sherry Gross, assistant coaches Matt Corey and Lizzie Perkins, and the head coach Jay Gillard. Captains for your Eastview Lightning are Jacob Linscheid, Alex Schmidt, and Owen Unten. The diving coach is Carson Schulberg, assistant coaches Ken Mulsoff and Eric Bogan, and the head coach of the Lightning is Mr. Mark Tollefson. For your Hastings Raiders, the captains are Adam Dewar and Tyler Wood. Diving coach Brianna Arness. Assistant coaches Sunshine Lewis, Dylan Anderson, and Lauren LeMay, and the head coach is Kate McAlpin. Captains for the Park Wolfpack, Zach Crook, Jackson Hari, David Lays, and Mitch LeMay. Diving coach Chris Sova, assistant coaches Paula Deach, Paige Hill, and Abby Olson, and the head coach is Amanda Johnson. For the Rosemont Irish, your captains are Will Kerrigan, Sullivan Labno, Tristan Timbers, and Matthew Warwick. Strength coach is Dr. Tim Conboy, diving coach Dan Monahan, assistant coaches Emily Gabriel and Jeff Nelson, and the head coach is Jake Kemna. And rounding out our teams, your captains for the Woodbury Royals, Phil Lawrence, Will Manor, and Noah Schmidt. Diving coaches Patty Hagan, assistant coaches Sydney Bell and Will Jenkins, and the head coach is Connor Raw. Before we get started, for breaks in the action or times when you might be a little hungry or thirsty, there are concessions available. They have hot and ready Chick-fil-A sandwiches, Coke, Diet Coke, water, Gatorade, and a variety of candy, chips, and energy bars. In America, it is tradition to stand, remove your hats, and face the American flag during the playing of our national anthem. Please rise and honor America as we play the Star-Spangled Banner. we get started.
Good evening. This is Gus Broman with ETV. We are excited to join you here for the Section 3AA Finals for the Swim and Dive Championships here. We are grateful for ETV being here tonight. Joe Conlon is producing and directing. Margie Broman on camera 1. Paul Keller on camera 2. And this is Gus Broman. A couple of things are a little bit different tonight. Due to the weather, prelims was canceled. And the way it works in swimming is usually you have the prelims where everybody who qualifies swims. And what I mean by that is each team is allowed to bring their 4 fastest swimmers in each event. Each swimmer is allowed to swim 2 individual events and 2 relay events. But due to the projected snowstorm, that was canceled. So tonight it just means we go straight to finals. And what does that mean? It means we are qualifying for the State Swim and Dive Championships this evening. You can qualify in one of 2 ways. One, get first or second in your event, or 2, to make the time. And we start with the 200-yard medley relay. The 2002 champions was from East Ridge of Becker, Sparks, Abrahamson, Saltzback. Section record was by Rosemount in 2012. Looking at this meet, seated first in actually all the relays is East Ridge. So they are seated to win each of these section races here, and any DQs disqualify you from that state competition. But in the water right now, doing the backstroke in lane 1 is Thomas Foss. Lane 2 for Woodbury, Grant McLuhan. Lane 3 for Eagan, Miguel San Jose. And lane 4 for Rosemount, Spencer Rudd. Lane 5 for East Ridge, Haverman. Park is in lane 6 with Jesserts. Lane 7, Josh and Eastview. Now we got the breaststrokers in the water. In lane for Hastings, it's Watterson. For Woodbury, it's Webb. For Eagan, it's Dobbin Chong. This is the first time he's swum this event. He just made the relay. But in lane 1, you're seeing Eastwind of East Ridge. And Rosemount has Prissy in the water. And lane 6, Park. Lane 2 is Langseth, and Linshide just finished up for Eastview. Now in the water for the Butterflyers. We'll go in order of lanes. Hastings, Dewar, Woodbury, Standheim, Eagan, Keller, Rosemount, Soleil, Shong for East Ridge, LeMay. For Valley, it's Lenzen, and then Papa. But boy, this is coming down. The race is in the middle of the pool. If you're seeing Hegenbarth in lane 3 going for Eagan, going against Warwig. East Ridge is really going to pull this out with Olgun. Who is that second place going to state? Looks like it's 1 for East Ridge. And the second qualifier is, it's Rosemount. And then it goes East Ridge, and it looks like Eagan got 3rd unofficially. We will wait to get the official results, but man, what a race that was. The state qualifying time is a 1:39:01. And so it looks like Eagan was just 1/10 of a second away from qualifying based on time. And incidentally, each of the both the teams that got first and second actually also did get a state qualifying time. So that means they'll be in the running come the state meet. So a little bit different since it is finals. There will be a medal ceremony, I believe, in between each event. That's how they've done it in years past. But incidentally, the way the scoring works is for individuals, if you get first in your event, it's 20 points, second is 17, and then third is 16, and then it decrements all the way down until you get to 16th place. 16th place does grab 1 point. for the relays. All points are double. So East Ridge right there got 40 points, and excuse me, Rosemount got 40 points, and then East Ridge got second, so they got 34 points. So as of now, East Ridge is in second place in the meet with 34 points, and Rosemount is 40 points. And then your Eagan Wildcats would be at 32 points. I will not be keeping score as the evening progresses because I did not go to District 196 school and have that kind of math. So, but we will bring you updates from the official scores table. So we will only say the scores if they come from the scores table. So once again, if it was a usual year where you had prelims, the prelims you would swim on Wednesday night, and then only the top 16 would swim at finals, which would be this evening. And so it would only be 2 heats. But for the relays, it's always just 1 heat because each team only gets 1. So when we do the medals presentation, we will just let the PA announcer announce it and let them, so you can hear it loud and clear and hear the officials from the official scores table. One other item of note, we will not know who wins this meet at the end of the night because diving is going to take place tomorrow at Dakota Hills Middle School, and actually the best diving in the state of Minnesota for sections will be done at in that meet. So and Greg Jorgensen is handing us the official scores. Has been serving as a volunteer for so long. We so appreciate him. And so it is official. Rosemount did win that. He did win that event. But it went Rosemount, East Ridge got second, Eagan third, Park fourth, Apple Valley fifth, Woodbury sixth, Hastings seventh, and then Eastview eighth. So we will wait for that.
Handing out awards.
Shout out to Greg Jorgensen,
Rosemount
who did hand us the official results. So his son graduated, I believe, in 2012, and he's still been volunteering. So
Triu Chapa and Blake Suttenberg in 7th place. From Hastings, Thomas Foss, Garrett Waterston, Adam Dewar, and Isaac Schulk. In 6th place from Woodbury, Grant McElwain, Raymond Webb, Derek Stadheim, and Aiden Sow. In 5th place from Apple Valley, in 5th place from Apple Valley, Josh Lee, Hovind Langseth, Gabe Lenzen, and Bridger Cook. In 4th place from Parker Jesuit, Mason Darling, Mitch LeMay, and Jack Schweigert. In 3rd place, the team from Eagan, Miguel San Jose, Dabin Chong, Thomas Keller, and Braden Hagenbart. In 2nd place with a time of 1:38.92 qualifying for state, the team from East Ridge, Aiden Haverman, Jacob Eastman, Vincent Zhang, and Poirez Olgan. And your 2023 champions, with a time of 1:37:90 from Rosemont, Matthew Warwig, Quinlan Schroeder, Spencer Rudd, and Josh Sikorsky.
Medal ceremony for the 200-yard medley relay, the first event this evening. That does put Rosemount in first place for the meet with 40, East Ridge at 34, Eagan at 32, Park at 30, Apple Valley at 28, Woodbury at 26, Hastings at 24, Eastview at 22 points. This is going to lead us into the 200-yard freestyle. The section champ in this was Eagan's own Jackson Keller. He had a 1:41.32 in 2022, but he has a section record back in 2020 with a 1:40.15. Your state qualifying time this evening will be a 1:45.26. And just to give you all right, in the water for Apple Valley in lane 3, and by the way, it goes from the bottom to the top of your screen. So Sam Barnhart is in lane 3 of Apple Valley. He's on the bottom of your screen. He's a freshman. Lane 4 is Cody Stewart from the Hastings Raiders. He's a 7th grader. And then in lane 5 from Park Cottage Grove is Nick Ripka. So we mentioned the seed time for Barnhart at lane 3 is a 2:30.29. For Stewart at lane 4, it's a 2:26.96. For Ripka, lane 5, it's 2:28.35. We mentioned that the state qualifying time is a 1:45.26. There will be 4 heats of this event, and the last heat is always the fastest seeded event. And there's only one athlete, Nathan Langstraight from East Ridge, who does have a state qualifying seed time with a 1:43. But these athletes are shaved and tapered for this meet. They try to make, they train their bodies, they beat it hard throughout that holiday week between Christmas and New Year's. And then they begin the taper where your muscles are beginning to rest and ease up a bit. And so you can expect all swimmers more than likely will have their fastest time of the year this evening. So when I read the seed time, that's really the time to beat is what we're looking at here. And in general, you can kind of see based on the coaching which teams will taper the best based on the yardage that they've been swimming throughout the year. So always fun at home to really see which team has tapered the best and is dropping the most time. So we're coming in on our times here. As I mentioned, lane 3, we'll mention lane 4 of Stewart had a 2:26.96 seed time. He crushed that. And in lane 5, Ripka had a seed time of 2:28.35, so he shattered that as well. And Barnhart coming in a little bit higher than his seed time. And so good swim by these guys. Two season bests by 2 of those guys. All right, this gets us to heat 2 of 4 for the time finals. So on the bottom of your screen is Benjamin Bells. Lane 2, Colton Larson of Woodbury. Lane 3, Logan Ritter of Woodbury. Lane 4 from your Eagan Wildcats, Tyler Burby. Lane 5, East Ridge, Blake Moss. Lane 6 from Woodbury, Eli Faulkner. Lane 7 from Park Cottage Grove, Ethan Cole. And in the time finals, what that means is that the last heat does have your fastest seed times. So in theory, that will be your fastest heat. And in order to place and score points, you need to be in the top 16. Usually you would have to qualify to get in that top 16, and then they re-swim it. But tonight, everyone just gets one chance to go as fast as they can. So a little bit different feel. Burby looking good for your Wildcats, way out in front by at least a body length. That bodes well for the junior. On his tail is Blake Moss of East Ridge, about a body length away. 2 body lengths away is Logan Ritter of Woodbury. Tyler Burby's seed time is a 2:03.22. So as I mentioned, we'll take a look at these seed times and see how your Wildcats are stacking up. Chris Morgan in his 16th year at Eagan is no rookie to the shave and taper. In fact, Eagan Wildcats won this section, or were section champs for 8 years in a row until last year. East Ridge won for the first time. So that was a bit of an upset. If you score the points as if all the teams are seeded, East Ridge would get first place, Eagan would get second, and Rosemount would get third. But tonight we're swimming all the events and see what happens. So let's see if Burby's coming in. His seed time was a 2:03.22. Nice time, young man. He dropped 5 seconds. Nicely done at a 1:58.04. Touching in lane 7, Eli Faulkner of Woodbury. Lane 2, Colton Larson of Woodbury. And Benjamin Bells in lane 1 of Eastview. Touching in, he broke his seed time by 0.8 seconds. This is going to bring us to heat 3 of 4 heats here in the 200-yard freestyle. Once again, your state qualifying time is a 1:45.26. So none of these athletes qualified for the state meet in this second heat, but your heat winner was from Eagan, Tyler Burby with a 1:58.04. A good, over a 5-second shave for Mr. Burby. That's fantastic. You can see in lane 1 there, Ethan Beckman on the starting block for Eastview. All right, you're going to see a lot of solid starts. They don't want to jump the gun here. In lane 2 is from Woodbury, Grant McElwain. Lane 3 from Eastridge, Ethan Olson. Lane 4 from Hastings, Taylor Schmalz. Lane 5 from your Eagan Wildcats, Mason Dietering. Lane 6 from East Ridge, Colton Rutkowski. Lane 7 from Rosemount, Nolan Hansen. Lane 8 from Park, Jackson Haar. Looking at how this race is going, it is Mason Dietering out in front there in lane 4. The seed times are holding true. But if you look at this, a little bit different than in prelims. If you were to swim that, it's a really jagged. Usually in a seeded heat, you'll see a flying V with lane 4 being way out in front. But right now, it's Taylor Schmalzen in front. Looks like Mason Dietering is fading a bit there in lane 5. Outside smoke in lane 1 with Ethan Beckman of Eastview. But Taylor Schmalz of Hastings is taking control of this heat. Dietering coming on strong there in lane 5. One lap to go, folks. Let's see who has that tapered punch left. Now we're seeing that flying V form now, with lane 4 being in front. So I guess all of the seeds are kind of coming true here. As you see, the fastest swimmers will be in the middle of the pool, and generally the slower ones on the outside. Schmalz coming on hot. Dietering has a 1:57.50 as a seed time, and he will certainly break that by 0.03 of a second. Good for Mason Dietering. 0.03 shaved, tapered there. Taylor Schmalz did win that heat. So that's going to bring us to heat 4 of 4 in this event 2 of the 200-yard freestyle. Remember, the state qualifying time is 1:45.26. Also remember, your first and second place will qualify for state. So looking at this, your winner of that was Taylor Schmalz of Hastings with the 1:54.52. So if he beats all of the swimmers in the next heat, he would get first in section. Eagan is looking to score some major points here. They have 2 swimmers in this heat, but in lane 1 from Eastview, it's Alex Schmitz. Lane 2 from Apple Valley, Gabe Lenzen. Lane 3 from Rosemount, Will Durfay. Lane 4 from East Ridge, Nathan Langstraight. Lane 5 from Eagan, Miguel San Jose. Lane 6 from Rosemount, Sawyer Smith. Lane 7 from your Wildcats, Louis Decatois. Lane 8 from Hastings, Tristan Herbst. So remember, the qualifying time is 1:45.26. Langstraight, the number 1 seed in lane 4 from East Ridge, does have that going in. Oh, it is good to see Miggy San Jose from your Wildcats going in hard in lane 5. He is keeping Langstraight in his sights. He's staying within a half body length, which is key. That is fantastic. And then Sawyer Smith is in third there from Rosemount. Candidly, the Miggy San Jose is within 4 seconds of a seed time with Langstraight. So, and then after that, the next seed is 5 seconds after him. So might be a clear winner here and a clear second, and that's kind of how it's shaping up so far. But half the race to go here. You won't get the flying V here when you have such a discrepancy here. The 200 is one that could differ drastically if there were prelims. Boy, what a time, a 1:43.13. And then you have 1:47.0 for Miggy San Jose. So while he doesn't get the state qualifying time, he will go to state based on being in second there. I would argue that Langstraight has more in the tank. So he's one to watch at the state meet. He probably did not shave and taper for this event. His coach is probably saying, hey, let's save that for state. You got more. So they're probably swimming him pretty hard this week, whereas some of the other guys were tapering to just try to get that first or second. But such is not the case there for Langstraight. So good for him. I mean, and that really came to fruition. Actually, Michael Phelps, many people would shave and taper for the Olympic trials. Phelps never did. He could just swim right through it, and then he would shave and taper for the actual Olympics. That's why people knew that it was going to be a good result for Michael Phelps. So there are 8 AA sections in swim and dive. So we're in section 3AA. We used to be in section 2AA. So when I mentioned that Eagan had won 8 straight section titles, at least 5 of them were in 2AA prior to moving to 3AA. So with each of the 8 sections has 8 teams, which makes 64 double A teams. Incidentally, the remainder of the teams in the state make up single A, and it just so happens that there are 64 single A teams in the state. And so rarely does that happen. But so as we wait for these athletes to line up for the medal ceremonies, back to the 200-yard freestyle, it does change a little bit if you have prelims and finals, because you kind of want to know what's my body doing. I know that Eagan, even though school was canceled yesterday, was able to find a pool to get in to get that body going again. You want to keep the body loose and at least get some sort of workout in. So good. And so that's what you really want to see. Miggy San Jose waving at the camera. We appreciate him. If you didn't know, he's actually a fantastic disc golfer. Burns fewer calories when he disc golfs than swims, but look to Miggy San Jose to really be carrying the torch, living the legacy of Eagan Wildcat swim and dive. He's going to be a key figure in this Eagan story, because with the restrictions over the last couple of years, there's a bit of a blip in swimming and diving because they were unable to swim meets for an entire year. They just did time trials and then loaded the times into the computer.
Alex Schmidt. In 7th place from Hastings, Taylor Schmaltz. In 6th place from Rosemount, Will Durfee. In 5th place from Hastings, Tristan Herbst. In 4th place from Eagan, Louis Decatois. In 3rd place from Rosemount, Sawyer Smith. In 2nd place with a time of 1:47 flat, heading to state, Miguel San Jose of Eagan. And your 2023 200 free champion with a time of 1:43.13 from Eastridge, Nathan Longstrot.
Straight, good to see Louis Decatois grab that 4th place there. But as I mentioned, Miggy San Jose is going to be kind of a linchpin of sorts for the Eagan Wildcats in the future, because the reason I say that is, as a junior, he has that history from the old school world order when things were a little bit normal, and Chris Morgan had that culture. So he's going to be part of that culture rebuild as some of these seniors for Eagan graduate and move on. So fantastic to see him. So this is going to bring us to the 200-yard individual medley. Your 2022 champion is Sven Becker from Eastridge with a 156.64. The second section record was in 2009 by Tom Eiling, the 152.79. And the state qualifying time is a 157.59. So in lane 3 for Hastings, that's Russell Schulk. In lane 4 for Woodbury, that's Evan Yang. And lane 5 for Woodbury, that is Andrew Choi. So yeah, we read that the section record is by Burnsville. There is changing of the sections and re-sectioning every few years. As I mentioned, Eagan used to be in 2 AA, and Burnsville used to be in 3 AA. They moved around a little bit, but each team definitely still has their sections. So there are 4 heats of this. And once again, the state qualifying time is 157.59. And candidly, there are 0 people with that seed time right now, but we'll see with tapering how that brings us. So. Oops. And we do have the official results here coming up. We are getting the official results. However, it's only the points for the certain events. So we'll see if we can get you a cumulative total of the events as we go. So back to live racing. We are in our final stroke. Look at this. I love it. The slowest seed of Russell Schultz from Hastings, the 7th grader in lane 3. Digging it out, 1 flip turn to go. In 2nd place is Andrew Choi in lane 5 from Woodbury. And in 3rd place in this heat, in lane 4 is Evan Yang. And it will be Schultz of Hastings touching in first for this heat 1 of 4.
Side of Eastview. Lane 5.
As we get ready for this heat 2 of 4. Lane 1 from Eastview is Blake Sundberg. Lane 2, Woodbury, Ben Lunzer. Lane 3, Eastview's Owen Kunisaki. Lane 4 of Eastview, Jacob Linscheid. Lane 5 from your Eagan Wildcats, Kuldeep Ratchabatuni. Lane 6 from Rosemount, Josh Saleh. Lane 7 from Woodbury, Nathan Tao. Lane 8 is open. Definitely a great race to watch, because when you incorporate all 4 strokes into the race, you might have a fantastic butterflyer jump out in front, and then the backstroker takes over, and breaststroke is always worth probably a little bit more because it's such a differentiator. And then come the freestyle, everybody's usually kind of right in the thick of things. Kuldeep Ratchabatuni with a good butterfly there in lane 5. But it is Linscheid of Eastview in lane 4. But yeah, such a fun event to watch. In the backstroke, the only time the flags that you see hanging above come into play is in that backstroke. You can count how many strokes you do before you do a flip turn. So, and this is the hardest transition. If you see the backstroke, it's usually a glide as they kind of hope for that wall, and then they get into that breaststroke. So you want to not slow down too much, but yet you don't want to hit your head. But it is a tight race coming into this breaststroker. But Ratchabatuni is leading now. He is a good breaststroker, so he might be able to pull that out. But Linscheid in lane 4 and his teammate Kunisaki in lane 3 are also hanging right there with it. Kuldeep Ratchabatuni getting that body length ahead. So he'll just have that freestyle to go. Hopefully Ratchabatuni can hop into that top 16 and score a point for your Eagan Wildcats, because you can be in the heat 2, and if you make that top 16, that is your place to grab. And you can grab that 1 point, and it has happened 2 years ago where Eagan did beat Rosemount by a point. Went down to that 400-yard freestyle, so every point counts, every 100th counts. So Kuldeep Ratchabatuni had a 2:28.72 as a seed time, and oh my Lanta, a 2:17.87? Are you kidding me? 11-second drop there for Ratchabatuni. That is just fantastic. So we'll put that in our head to say, okay, a 2:17.87, will that get him into that top 16? Always that critical spot. So this gets us to heat 3 of 4. In lane 1 is going to be Damian Charpentier of Park. Lane 2 from Park, Logan Schweigert. Lane 3 from Eagan, Will Wynn. Lane 4 from Eagan, Alex Bango. Lane 5 from Eagan, Aiden Smith. Lane 6 from East Ridge, Michael Shannon. Lane 7 from Hastings, Isaac Schulk. Lane 8 from Hastings, James Jensen. So as we look at this 200-yard individual medley, the state qualifying time is a 1:57.59. Boy, has that dropped through the years. And what they do is mathematically they re-look at those state qualifying times every year to try to only have 3 or 4 heats at the state meet. So as times get faster, they end up getting redistributing that time, either faster or slower, but generally it's faster. The boys are getting faster. Your Eagan Wildcats are in the middle of this pool, 3, 4, and 5. It'll be like watching a swim practice at Dakota Hills Middle School right there in the middle with the white caps. Your senior Alex Bango is in lane 4 there. Once again, the qualifying time is a 1:57.59, tough time to get. Incidentally, if you were to grab the fastest time in this heat tonight, you would be the section winner, so kind of a difference in other years, which is quite exciting. Appreciate being here at Blue Water. One of the nice things about this facility as opposed to some of the schools is they have a full pool for warm-ups and cool-downs. So the athletes, once they're done, can cool down in another pool, which is fantastic. So here we are into this backstroke where the differentiation is happening. If you see Bango, he's kind of slowing down on this backstroke, but he's a wonderful breaststroker. So look for something special coming up next here. But it is Aiden Smith for your Eagan Wildcats in first right now, but you'll see Bango take over him in this breaststroke. Meanwhile, Will Wynn is beaten down on him in lane 3. Lane 2, Schweigert from Park is sneaking up a bit too in this breaststroke. Oh yeah, there it is. Bango will be in first place going into this freestyle. Yeah, like I said, it's that breaststroke is so key because it's a slower stroke in general. So if you've mastered it, it's just so much more of a differentiator. So Bango's time was 1.2 seconds faster than the next seeded time. His seed time was at 2:14.43. Let's see how he's looking shaved and tapered. He's going to touch in at a 2:09.92. You kidding me? A 4.5 second drop? Congratulations, Bango. Then Will Wynn there in 2:15.48. So he added a bit of time. And then Aiden Smith there in lane 5 at 2:13.77. So he dropped at 1.8 seconds. So good swim there by the Eagan guys, going a 1:24. So lane 4 of heat 4 of 4. In lane 1 from Park will be Mason Darling. Lane 2 from East Ridge, Jacob Eastman. Lane 3 from East Ridge, Vincent Shong. Lane 4 from Rosemount, Matthew Warwig. Lane 5 from East Ridge, Aiden Haberman. Lane 6 from Rosemount, Sullivan Labno. Lane 7 for Rosemount is Quinlan Schroeder. Lane 8 from Park is Jack Schweigert. So more than likely, let's see here, a 2:09.92. So if anyone goes slower than that, that will bump Alex Bango into a top 8 position. Which if it was only prelims, if you are in the 9 through 16. You cannot move up into that 8th position, even if you swim faster in the finals. That's just how prelims and finals work. So we'll see how, see if these guys keep their spot, or if Alex Bango can hop up to first place. So we're grateful for the officials here tonight. A lot of familiar faces with Ann Sims as a starter. Her kid swam at Rosemount. Your stroke and turn judges is Teresa Jurish, whose kid swam at Eagan. And then Bill McCain is also stroke and turn judge. And then referee for this evening is Bob Krunstead. So coming into this turn here, watch this backstroke, see if they're gliding or time it. Oh, it's a nice touch in there by Warwig in lane 4. Coming into this breaststroke, it is nip and tuck there between Warwig and Haberman in lanes 4 and 5. So neither one is going to give them a bit of space on this breaststroke here. Oh, but that was a good turn by Haberman there. In lane 5, the sophomore is busting out on the senior from Rosemount. Then Sullivan in lane 6 is coming along too. So is there enough in the tank for Warwig in this freestyle to catch up? It's rare to make up a body length in the freestyle, but look at the outside smoke. That's Sabno for Rosemount in lane 6. It's incredible. He's probably going to grab that second spot. The times will be state qualifying cuts. Fantastic times coming in. 1:56.74 at 1:57.86. So your top time was a state qualifying time, but 1 and 2 go to state, so that'll be sending Haberman from East Ridge and Labno from Rosemount. A little bit of a surprise, your number 1 seed, Warwig, was not able to touch in that 1 or 2 position, so certainly disappointing there for the senior, which, you know, you wonder if you had prelims and finals, how would that look different? You know, kind of go in the pool, feel the body, see what it is, and then come back 2 nights later and swim it a bit faster, but we'll never know. And as I mentioned, 3 out of the last 6 years between the governmental restrictions of not having section prelims, and then also the weather storms. 3 of the last 6 years, it's just been a time finals, which is certainly different. So in section 3AA, going to state, as I mentioned, will be from East Ridge, Aiden Haberman, and from Rosemount in lane 6 will be Sullivan Labno. Labno, incidentally, got a 1:57.86, so it was not a state qualifying time, but as I mentioned, you can get in with that second seed, and who knows, with another week of taper and next weekend, he might be going gangbusters. So he's just using this as a prelim thing. So that is just fantastic for him. And so we will have the results from the 200-yard individual medley. So I actually will read them from the bottom. Fortunately, Owen Kunasaki from Eastview was disqualified, and 25th was Nathan Tao of Woodbury. 24th was Evan Yang of Woodbury. 23rd from Woodbury, Andrew Choi. 22nd from Eastview was Blake Sunberg. 21st from Hastings, Russell Schulk. From 20th from Woodbury was Ben Lunzer. 19th from Rosemount is Josh Saleh. 18th from Hastings was James Jensen. 17th from Eastview was Jacob Linscheid. 16th from Hastings, Isaac Schulk. 15th, oh, good for you, is from Eagan. Kuldeep Ratchabatuni moved up 2 spots. And from Park at 14th place is Damian Charpentier. 13th place from Eastridge, Michael Shannon. 12th place from Eagan is Will Wynn. 11th place from Park is Logan Schweigert. In 10th place from Eagan, Aiden Smith. In 9th place from Park is Jack Schweigert. 8th place from Eagan is Alex Bango. 7th place from Rosemount is Quinlan Schroeder. 6th place from Eastridge is Vincent Zhang. 5th place from Park is Mason Darling. 4th place from East Ridge is Jacob Eastman. And 3rd place from Rosemount is Matthew Warwig. 2nd place from Rosemount, Sullivan Labno. 1st place, as I mentioned, Aiden Haverman. So your totals so far through event 3, Rosemount is in 1st with 118. Eastridge is in 2nd with 114. Eagan with 3rd place at 102. Over to the medal ceremony.
Schroeder. In 6th place from Eastridge, Vincent Zhang. In 5th place from Park, Mason Darling. In 4th place from Eastridge, Jacob Eastman. In 3rd place from Rosemount, Matthew Warwig. In 2nd place, heading to state with a time of 1:57.86 from Rosemount, Sullivan Labno. And your 2023 200 individual medley champion with a time of 1:56.74 from Eastridge, Aiden Haverman.
All right, now it's picture time, so back to the team rankings. I'm just going to cut to the chase. So many times I read from bottom to top, but you want to know who's in first, and that's Rosemount with 118, East Ridge at 114, Eagan at 102, 4th place is Park with 62, Hastings at 51, Apple Valley at 37, Eastview at 34, Woodbury at 28. So just as you're watching from home, please note that after this 50-yard freestyle, there will be the diving break, even though diving is tomorrow. So please stick with us. You can grab your food and beverage after the 50-yard freestyle splash and dash. All right, we are going right into this 50-yard freestyle. Heat 104. I'm going to start reading your racers. In lane 2 from Hastings, Alex Culp. Lane 3 from Eastview, Ethan Misakana. Lane 4 from Park is Hayden Bonner. Lane 5 from Apple Valley, Gavin Curry. Lane 6 from Eastview is Nishant Sujesh. Lane 7 from Hastings, Kenrick O'Donnell. Your state qualifying time is a 21:85. Last year's section champ was Mitchell LeMay from Park with a 21:96. Section record was set in 2015 from Prior Lakes. Alex left with a 21:26. So once again, state qualifying time is a 21:85. This heat was won by Gavin Curry with a, oh my, 26:94. He dropped almost 4 seconds in a 50. Your next heat in lane 1 from Apple Valley will be Aiden Call. Lane 2 will be Eastview, Chiraya Thapa. Lane 3 from Park, Luke Dockendorf. Lane 4 from Eastview, Owen Untin. Lane 5 from East Ridge, Neil Shakar. Lane 6 from Hastings, Tyler Wood. Lane 7 from Apple Valley, Luke Klopp. And lane 8 from Park is Zach Crook. So this is heat 2 of 4. State qualifying time is 21:85.
Prize for the start, please. We are ready, Mr. Referee.
start. I thought that there'd be a bit of wiggling. Back to the 200 IM, Alex Bango did move up, so he was able to hop up into that finals position. So good for him getting that top 8 finish, which necessarily wouldn't have been done if it's prelims. If you're seeded 9th, you couldn't do that. Time finals, you can. Flying V formation, about what they were seeded in. None of your Eagan swimmers were in that heat 2, but in heat 3 here, in lane 1 from Apple Valley will be Bridger Cook. Lane 2 from Eagan will be Ben Kearns. Keep an eye on him, the senior captain. Lane 3 from Woodbury, Raymond Webb. Lane 4, East Ridge, Poyraz Olgan. Lane 5 from Woodbury, Aiden Tsao. Lane 6 from Rosemount, Noah Sranoski. Lane 7 from Woodbury, Grant McElwain. Lane 8 from Woodbury is Will Manor. So Ben Kearns, once again, the state qualifying time is a 21:85. Kearns coming in with a 24:74. Now, it would not be surprising for one of these athletes to go faster than an athlete in that heat 4 of 4. Egan's going to have 3 swimmers in that final heat, so that should be a great point boost for the Wildcats. But I'm serious, in this event, I mean, it's just like, did you have Taco Bell 3 days ago? That might affect you. I mean, so much, it goes down to the 100th. And the start is such a key. Solid start, I could see from up here. Everyone was stable, so they're going out. Kearns is up and going. I love it. He's going in hot. Lane 2 on the outside here. It is the bottom of your screen. Anything can happen in this 50-yard splash and dash. But it does look to be Noah Sranoski over from Rosemount, touching in first in lane 6. Kearns ends up with a 24:48, so he's shaved .3. Outside smoke for sure. The winner gets a 22:97. Still 1.1 off of the state qualifying time, but this gets us to this last heat. Rosemount in lane 1, Josh Sikorsky. Lane 2, Egan's Thomas Keller. Lane 3 will be East Ridge's Morgan Gillard. Lane 4 will be East Ridge Neil Abrahamson. Lane 5 from Park will be Mitch LeMay. Lane 6 with a short break from Egan, Derek Bango. Lane 7 from Eagan will be Braden Hegenbarth, and lane 8 will be Oliver Gergen from the Hastings Raiders, a sophomore future pilot. Boy, this is so critical. I just get so nervous. I don't even have a kid competing anymore, and I just get the jitters. Anything can happen on this start. Look at Keller's just huge legs and quads, and has the fast skins on. A solid start by all the athletes right off the blocks. Keller is out in front right away, but then popping up in lane 4 is Neil Abrahamson from East Ridge. Off the wall will be a big push. Abrahamson isn't coming up yet. It is tight in the middle with Mitch LeMay there with the green cap. A lot of fast swims going on. 21:59. A 21:83. Keller is at 22:43 over there in lane 2. Didn't quite drop what he wanted with only 600ths. Certainly fast swims, but looking at this swim here, a 21:83 and a 21:59. So your top 2 qualifiers do go to state, and they both got state qualifying times. Bango over there in lane 6 did get 6th with a 22:53. He added a 10th or so. And Hegenbarth in lane 7 got 8th with a 23:55, but good for him, he dropped 3/10 of a second. So hold on tight. We are going to have the medal ceremony here of the 50-yard freestyle, and then there will be a 12-minute intermission for the diving break. The reason they do that is to give the athletes some resting time for, because some of the athletes will swim a 50-yard freestyle, and then be back at it. And we're talking about Ben Kearns. He swam a 50-yard freestyle, and then he's going to swim the 100-yard butterfly. So in a normal meet of a dual meet, you have diving, so it allows your heart to recover, and so that you still want to give these athletes that fair chance as they're doing that. So thank you to Paul Keller, who is just scampering like a little rabbit going up and down to get us the results. So let me tell you, through event 4, which is a 50-yard freestyle, it is East Ridge in first place with 161. Rosemount is in second with 144. Eagan shortly behind there at a 140 in third place. Big drop to fourth place to Park with 79. Bigger drop to Hastings at 60 in fifth place. Woodbury is in sixth with 43. Apple Valley at 38, and Eastview is in eighth with 36 points. So East Ridge is delivering as promised. So
14 was Grant McElwain of Woodbury, 13 Ben Kearns of Eagan, 12 was Raymond Webb of Woodbury, 11 Braden Hagenbarth of Eagan, 10 was Aiden Sow of Woodbury, 9 was Oliver Gergen of Hastings. Handing out awards to our medalists will be East Ridge head coach Jay Gillard.
So as we go to this medal ceremony, we will turn it over to the PA system here. Good to see these guys. Great memories here. A lot of these guys on this podium stand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Half of these guys are seniors, so their last high school memory of swimming might be right here.
Derek Obang of Eagan. In fifth place, Josh Sikorsky of Rosemont. In fourth place, Thomas Keller of Eagan. In third place, Morgan Gillard of East Ridge. In second place, heading to state with a time of 21:83, Mitch LeMay of Park. And your 2023 50 free champion with a time of 21:59 from East Ridge, Neil Abramson.
Event winner, the coach hands out the medals, so that that is the East Ridge coach there. Is Neil Abrahamson's coach from East Ridge, which is Jay Gillard. So Jay Gillard, this is his third. This is the third head coach for East Ridge in 3 years. The other guys, the last couple guys, have had seniors, and so Jay was actually an assistant to Megan Kemna.
We'll now be taking a 15-minute break.
So here's a 15-minute break. So just as we're going to break here, you know, these swim and dive teams, they train 6 days a week, 3 hours each practice. I mean, it takes a lot of courage and discipline. So, you know, if you do the math, that's over 250 plus hours of training before walking onto the pool deck tonight. And a lot of the teams have 12 to 15 competitions when you're including dual meets, invitationals, maroon and gold meets. And so it is a busy winter, and I know from having 3 swimmers myself, takes a toll on that food bill. We started buying cows from Roger Fox in Hastings, Minnesota. Bring them to get butchered at Greg's Meats, also actually in Hampton, Minnesota. So actually since then we've never gone back to anything but grass-fed beef. So I thank the sport of swimming for having me feed my kids so much that I had to buy cows, and I love it. Roger Fox from Hastings has since then retired, and so now we get our cows from Schneider Ranch. So then So back to the athletes here. The divers, they do 60 to 75 dives a day. I mean, that is dedication. The swimmers are going 3,000 yards to 7,000 yards a day. Some of them go over 10,000 yards. So if you do the math there, the swimmers have swam roughly about 300 plus miles. So if you were to leave right here in Apple Valley, Minnesota, and you swim to Duluth and back, that's how far these guys have swum since the last week in November. Or if you're more of a point-to-point, you could just swim from Apple Valley till Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and that is the equivalent of 300 miles. That is how far these guys have swum since November. So definitely dedication to do that. I mean, I look at all three of my boys. Some of our looking on Facebook, I saw memories popping up from basically the last 12, 13, and 15 years I've spent it in this pool. So it's been so fun seeing the memories pop up of the kids holding up the 5 fingers for five years in a row section champions. East Ridge is the defending section champions this year, and as I mentioned, they are in first place tonight. So we talked a little bit about Jay Gillard, the East Ridge coach. I can't help but mention the Eastview coach, Mark Tollefson. He's actually the longest serving coach in the section. When Eagan opened up as a school, Mark Tollefson actually came to Eagan and was the swim and dive coach. Actually, he coached at Eagan, and then when Eastview opened up their school, Tollefson hopped on over to Eastview, and he's been their only swim and dive coach in the history of the school, both the boys and the girls. So he's busy in the fall with the girls, busy in the boys with in the winter, and then he also coaches track the entire time as well. So really smart guy, kind of a rocket scientist. He teaches science to the high school athletes, and he bikes everywhere he goes year round. So that's a big tall man on 2 skinny wheels. So, and he's always working hard for the kids. So Vogan has been his assistant coach for many years, and incidentally, Vogan swam for Tollefson in those first couple years at Eagan High School, which I believe was in 1990. So that is your Eastview head coach, Mark Tollefson. Heading to Apple Valley is a dedicated man for sure. A father of 9 is Scott Pearson. I mean, that's all you have to say, right? 9 kids. Oh my Lanta. All great kids, and I mean, when you have 9 kids, your wife has got to have a special place in heaven. He's really invested in that program there, and Apple Valley's really coming around, and he's done really well with those divers, swimmers, and divers. And if you go to the Apple Valley pool at Valley Middle School, you will see some of the records still there from the 1970s. It's quite amazing. I mean, it has just been a historic program altogether. Margaret. Jake Kemna is the head coach of Rosemount, and he dovetailed perfectly his personality into what Rosemount is really known for. Been there a long time. He's strong, hard-working, has tough racers. Now, Rosemount has been a pillar in this swim community for many, many years. Actually, he, on his assistant coaching staff many years, was the assistant coach for the girls at Eagan, Carl Kinseth. And Carl Kinseth, his son, Evan Kinseth, swam for him. And then also on that, one of his assistant coaches, Kemna's, was Mickelson. So Andrew Mickelson is the head women's coach at Eagan High School. incidentally, both Kemna and Mickelson swam at Gustavus Adolphus, whose season just wrapped up last weekend. They won the MIAC championships for the men. I'm not sure about the women. Former Eagan swimmer Jared Dawson swam the mile and the 500 and 4 IM there for Gustavus Adolphus. And he will become an alum this spring, and so he will grab the credentials that Jake Kemna, the head coach of Rosemount, has. So from Hastings, Katie McAlpine is a brand new head coach for those Hastings Raiders, and she's also a teacher there as well, which is helpful during the inclement weathers. She took over the girls program in 2015, and so now she's coaching the boys team, so a little bit of continuity there. Connor Ross of Woodbury, they've had some good performances each year. You had a guy by the name of Tim Rizzo, also a no, he was not a Gustavus Adolphus. I do not remember where Mr. Rizzo went, but he certainly has had some great athletes swim through there. And the head coach of Park Cottage Grove is Amanda Johnson. She's been in the swimming community since she was 8 years old, swimming competitively, and swam at Park, the school where she coaches at, from 7th to 12th grade, and then also was in Nordic skiing and track and field. She swam up there at Minnesota State Moorhead. And so this is, as I mentioned, she actually had her third child this fall, so certainly a busy woman, But as we're at break here, I once again want to thank ETV. If you're looking at the stands, you had to get here well over an hour to get a seat up here in the hot stands. So you are happy to be in the comfort of your own home watching this. And so we thank ETV. So we have Joe Conlon directing and producing all at the same time up here. Margie Broman is on camera 1. Paul Keller is on camera 2. And he's also the results racer. Another item of note, great to see Sandy Setter, longtime activities director at Eagan High School. She definitely has a special spot in my heart. Having my boys, a couple of them go through the soccer program, the swim programs. She really sets a culture there by the coaches that she hires, learning life's lessons. And my kids still come back, and in fact, they're watching online because the brotherhood on this Eagan swim and dive team is something that runs deep. They're always anxious to get back for that alumni meet and play a little bit of animal ball and make sure that these young bucks are still living the legacy through the COVID restrictions. It was tough. There was no animal ball and there were no swim meets. There were just time trials, and it was a little bit agitating to some of the guys who went before, nervous that the culture wouldn't continue. And so it was a bit of a reset for Coach Morgan after being here for 13 years, had new challenges on his hands, but it is a reset. And I want to publicly say it, Miggy San Jose he kind of is that conduit between that old regime and this new regime, so he has a lot on his shoulders. Eagan actually only has 4 seniors that will be graduating: Neelan Ambalam, Alex Bango, Ben Currens, Thomas Keller, and Reese Heenis Cook. All 5 of them will be scoring points tonight. But it's only 5, and if you look at the junior class, I mean, there's a ton of kids, over 14, and as well as over 14 freshmen. So kind of a restocking year for Eagan, as they didn't win the section last year. They are not slated to win it this year, but you never know, depending on how the kids are doing, and especially without prelims, anything can happen. not quite like hockey and soccer. If you know who your studs are and if they do what they do, you'll probably walk away with it. But there is no clear winners, and there could be some upsets tonight. So we do appreciate Eastview High School. They always host this section meet. I'm not sure how that all ended up, but the parents do a ton of work to do this. And I will say one of the MVPs of the evening I mentioned before is Greg Jorgensen, who actually runs the meet manager. And this is a heavy parent intensive sport. You know, you have the touchpads in the water that talk to the Colorado computer system. The Colorado computer system talks to the meet manager computer system, which kicks out the reports, and it is ancient of days software because there is no competition for another company to sell that, because they have a turn on the market. So it looks like an old DOS software, but you can use a mouse every once in a while. So appreciate Greg Jorgensen being here. I'm going to guess here, and it's going to be a bit of a guess, but he has been doing this job no shorter than 17 years. So we certainly appreciate the work that he's been doing. Hasn't had a kid in over at least 12 years. So the officials are getting back to their locations. So we are basically at the halftime of the meet. Once again, if you're just joining us, East Ridge is leading the meet with 161, Rosemount at 144, Eagan at 140. Those are your top three. Diving isn't until tomorrow. And diving, I mean, if you want to talk about anything can happen in a dive meet. Will say it is the best diving in the state of Minnesota is in Section 3AA. They have the defending state champion diver there from Rosemount, and Eagan has 3 that will also be making very little splashes, but will be making an impact. So it will be a great meet. So you will not know at the end of this evening who won the meet because diving is a separate event and will be completed tomorrow. So after the break, we will be getting into the 100 butterfly. Your 2022 champion was Jackson Keller from Eagan. He won a 50.03. Section record was set by Michigan Wolverine swimmer Andrew Trepanier from Lakeville North with a 49.72. This year's state qualifying time is a 52.40. So once again, I read a name from a Lakeville North swimmer in Lakeville is no longer in Section 3AA. They moved down into the southern part of the state, so they drive down to Rochester for their section meet. So there will be 4 heats of this as well. 52.4 is your state qualifying time. Now I will say there probably will be at least 2 state qualifying times that get hit here. And it might be your top 2 placements as well. So we'll see how this goes. Eagan will have 2 in that final heat. Ann Sims is your starter. Blows, gets all set. Good clean starts there. In lane 3 for the Hastings Raiders is Kenrick O'Donnell. Lane 4 for the Apple Valley Eagles is Dylan Amarabundu. Lane 5 from Woodbury Royals is Kieran Mungavan. Lane 6 from the Apple Valley Eagles is Caleb Freerich. for the Royals, leading in the heat. So last year, Jackson Keller swam the 100 fly in the 200-yard freestyle. Ended up going on and winning in state in the 200-yard freestyle. He is now swimming at the University of Utah for the Utes, doing quite well there, enjoying his time there in Salt Lake City. (146.62). Excuse me, 1:14.62. So definitely shaved 5 seconds off. Good swim there by Kieran. This gets us into heat 2. In lane 1 from Eastview is Chiri Tapa. Lane 2, East Ridge, Ryan Green. Lane 3, Woodbury's Phil Lorenz. Lane 4 from Eagan, Reese Heenis Cook. Lane 5 from Park, Jackson Hare. Lane 6 from Hastings, Garrett Watterson. Lane 7 from Woodbury, Nathan Tao. Lane 8 for Woodbury, Evan Yang. Heenis Cook has the fastest time there in lane 1. Excuse me, in lane 4. A little bit of wiggling on the block, so Ann Sims wanted to make sure everyone was stable. Clean start there by all the athletes. I mentioned about the shaving and the tapering, shaving the legs, any bit of hair and the swim caps, get that all cleaned up. But also it should be mentioned that many of these athletes buy a fast skin, which is about a $280 suit. That allows you to probably drop a second or two as well. So it's definitely speeds it up. Those things are fun to put underneath a water faucet. It's as if you have like a slab of metal. Like no water goes into it at all. It just displaces the water immediately, which if you think about it, you're not having any drag whatsoever. It's pretty fantastic. So Reese Heenis Cook does a nice job on that turn there. He's leading this heat by about a body length. His seed time is a 1:04.58. He will be breaking that. Oh my Lanta. Over 3 seconds. Nice job, Reese Heenis Cook. Very good. This gets us to the heat 3 of 4, which is your top 16. Your Eagan swimmer will be in lane 4, excuse me, lane 3, Ben Currens. But in lane 1 from Eastview is Owen Unton. Lane 2 from East Ridge, Michael Shannon. Lane 4 from Rosemount, Spencer Rudd. Lane 5 from Rosemount, Sawyer Smith. Lane 6 from Apple Valley, Josh Lee. Lane 7 from Hastings, Isaac Schultz. Lane 8 from Park, Damian Charpentier. So we have 3 times under a minute. The seat times are under a minute here in this heat. So we'll see if that will continue on. Ben Kearns has had a nice drop in his first event, so we'll see where he's at here. Good clean starts there for all the athletes. Ooh, very nice start in lane 1 by Owen Unton. Ben Currens trying to bring it in, doing a nice job. I believe he has a wrist cast there as well. But boy, out like a gun is Spencer Rudd in lane 4 there. Lane 5, Sawyer Smith from Rosemount. It's as if you're at Rosemount Middle School watching an Irish practice. Lane 6, Josh Lee from Apple Valley, also doing a nice job hanging in there. And you do see that your classic flying V formation there. So the seed times are pretty accurate here. Wow. This is tight in the middle with your finishing time of a 56.93, so put that in your noggin for that next heat. How'd Currens end up in lane 3, a 103.62, so not his best swim, so unfortunate ending there. He's not happy with that.
And in heat 4, lane 1, Thomas Keller leading, lane 2,
Lane heat 4 of 4 is up next. Thomas Keller of Eagan will be in lane 1. The seed time of 56.60. Lane 2, Hastings, Adam Dewar. Lane 3, Eastridge, Vincent Zhang. Lane 4, Eastridge, Neil Abrahamson. Lane 5 from Park, Mitch LeMay. From Eagan in lane 6 is Dobbin Shong. Lane 7 from Apple Valley, Jovan Langseth. Lane 8, Parker Jesuritz from Park. Parker from Park. All right, when we're off, Keller gets a really nice start there in lane 1. He's up and swimming right away. Abrahamson does that really nice underwater streamline. Another really nice start by him. LeMay also a really nice start there in lane 5. Chong trying to hang on in lane 6 there. Good powerful turn there by Abrahamson in lane 1. Keller gets a nice turn there in lane 1. Excuse me, Abrahamson is in lane 4, seated first. Chong trying to hold on there in lane 6. Good turn by Keller there for that last turn. LeMay coming on strong there. It looks like he will be your section winner there at the green cap. And yes, he is a 50.79. A fantastic drop of a time there. 50.79. Keller ends up coming in at a 54.55. Good for him, dropping well over 2 seconds off his time. Good job, Thomas Keller. Dobbin Chong there in lane 6. He got 6 with a 55.36, so Keller drops over 2 seconds, and Chong drops over exactly 0.6 seconds. So that concludes event 6. Definitely some good swims there. Should be noted that the only 2 state qualifying times were by your section winner and second place winner. So those Section 3AA will send 2 athletes to state, and they qualify based on place and based on time. So they'll be in the thick of things when they swim at the Gene Freeman Aquatic Center at the University of Minnesota. So that will be 1 week from today. So that, let me read off the finalists there from the, so in 27th place from Apple Valley was Caleb Freerick. From 26th place from Apple Valley is Dylan Amaran Bandu. 25th place from Woodbury, Kieran Mangavan. 24th place from Woodbury, Nathan Tao. 23rd place from Woodbury, Evan Yang. 22nd place from Eastview, Chiraya Thapa. 21st place from Woodbury, Phil Lorenz. 20th place from Eastview is Owen Unton. 19th place from Hastings, Garrett Watterson. 18th place from Eagan, Ben Currens. 17th place from Hastings, Isaac Schulk. 16th place from East Ridge is Ryan Green. 15th place from Park, Damian Charpentier. 14th place from East Ridge, Michael Shannon. 13th place from Park, Jackson Haar. 12th place from Eagan, Reese Heenas Cook. 11th place from Apple Valley, Josh Lee. 10th place from Rosemount, Spencer Rudd. 9th place from Park, Parker Jeseritz. 8th place from Rosemount, Sawyer Smith. And we have a tie for 6th place. That is from Eagan, Dobbin Chong, and Hastings, Adam Dewar, so tied for 6th. And 5th place from Apple Valley, Jobin Langseth. 4th place from Eagan, Thomas Keller. 3rd place, Eastridge, Vincent Jung. Eastridge, 2nd place, Neil Abramson. Mitch Lee in 1st place. Over the medal ceremony.
And Adam Dewar of Hastings. In 5th place from Apple Valley, Jobin Langseth. In 4th place from Eagan, Thomas Keller. In 3rd place from Eastridge, Vincent Jong. In 2nd place, heading to state with a time of 51:19 from Eastridge, Neil Abramson. And your 2023 Section 3AA champion with a time of 50:79 from Park, Mitch LeMay.
Is your medal ceremony, so let's get to the team rankings through event 6, which is the butterfly. In 1st place is East Ridge with 198. Eagan has moved into 2nd place with a 172.5. Rosemount has dropped to 3rd place with 162. And then below that is Park in 4th place with 114. Hastings with a 72.5. Apple Valley in 6th place with 58. Woodbury with 43 in 7th, and Eastview with 36 points. So this brings us to event 7, the boys 100-yard freestyle. Exciting for Eagan. They have 2 in that final heat. There will only be 3 heats of this 100-yard freestyle tonight. In lane 1 is from Eastview is Benjamin Bells. Lane 2 from Apple Valley, Aiden Call. Lane 3, Egan's Vidhan Shrista. Lane 4 is from Woodbury, John Worth. Lane 5 from Woodbury, Sasha Munson. Lane 6 from Park, Luke Dockendorf. Lane 7 from Park, Ethan Cole. Lane 8 from Hastings, Alex Culp. Right for the start. Ooh, a little bit of wiggling there. I saw that with Aiden Call in lane 2. And Sims does not like that. Resets the field, and they're off. Everyone was solid. No DQs there. Up and at him. Vidhan Shrista, he has just been a stalwart in the Eagan program. His older brother swam for 4 years. His dad, VJ, runs the table there at Eagan, does a great job. So he's also kind of a linchpin with Miggy San Jose to make sure the culture continues, having an older bro in the program for 4 years, making sure it will continue. So Vidhan doing a great job so far, getting out front here. So hopefully he can hang on for another 25, because he is out there. Definitely in 1st place, and I think Dockendorf is over in lane 6, but Dockendorf came on hot, and looks like he'll win this heat, with Shrista getting 2nd there. Yep, that is the case. 56:18 for Shrista, which is great. So he drops 2.7 seconds, so excuse me, 2.8 seconds, so good for him. Heat 2 of 3, lane 1 from Woodbury is Will Manor. Lane 2 from East Ridge, Ian Chow. Lane 3 from Rosemount, Noah Sranoski. Lane 4 from Hastings, Taylor Schmaltz. Lane 5 from Hastings, Gabe Lenzen. Lane 6 from the Wildcats, Tyler Burby. Lane 7 from East Ridge, Stephen Liu. Lane 8 from Rosemount, Jackson Pressey. You know, after Burby's fantastic shave in his first event, I mean, look for him to drop 1, possibly 2, if not more than 2 seconds in this 100-yard freestyle. Coach Morgan knows what he's doing, and you know he's had some good training, and with this rest, it's really done his body a bit of good. So looking at his 200 free, when he was able to drop that over 5 seconds, if in the 200 you drop 5, would he not be able to drop at least 2 seconds here? We will see. And he's off. Boy, that would be great for Burby to move up a couple of spots, but we will see. His muscles are rested, and it gives him nothing but confidence after that 200-yard freestyle drop in over 5 seconds. He is the only Eagan swimmer here in lane 6. Definitely staying in the thick of things, but right now, wow, in lane 3, it's Stranaski from Rosemont. I love that quick little breath there before the turn, and then he got a nice big push there. So he's definitely the guy to watch right here. Watch this little quick. I like that. Instead of taking another stroke, he just grabs that breath and gets that big push off the wall. Okay, they're coming in here now. Let's see, Stranaski. Let's see where Burby finishes in, a 54.26. So he was able to drop a 1.2 seconds here in the 100. So good for him. But wow, was that a really nice swim by Noah Stranaski in lane 3. That was a really nice swim with a 52.30. Your state qualifying time is a 48.07. Your state champ is from last year was Parks Matt Glenna with a 47.90. And section record is Kyle Robrock from Prior Lake with a 46.67. So your final heat here is heat 3 is lane 1 from Woodbury is Aiden Sau. Lane 2 from the Wildcats is Louis Decatois. Lane 3 is East Ridge's Poirans Olgun. Lane 4 is East Ridge's Morgan Gillard. Lane 5 is Eagan's Derek Bango. Lane 6 is Rosemount Josh Sikorsky. Lane 7, future pilot from Hastings, Oliver Gergen. Lane 8 is Eastview's Alex Schmidt. Nice solid start by all these athletes. See what's up, and Decatois comes up early on that lane 2, and he's going fast and furiously. It's also good to see Bango in lane 5 getting that good turn. I mean, it is 100. The time to beat is a 48.07. You can qualify for state by getting first or second. Bango gets a really nice turn there. Decatois didn't quite get the turn he wanted. Bango's gonna have to make up something on this last turn and find something in this last 27 yards. Can he do it? Sikorsky from Rosemount is just going strong. Millard from East Ridge looking great with a 47.42. Bango glides in with a 49.56, a bit surprising, adding 0.2 unfortunately. Decatois finishes with a 50.48, so good for him, dropping 1.1 second. So your state qualifiers from that event will be Morgan Gillard from East Ridge, and then in lane 6 is Josh Sikorsky from Rosemount, who's having a whale of a meet. The 48.46. Not a qualifying time, but he gets in based on placement. So, I mean, that 48.07 for a qualifying time, that's a quick swim. So, so we appreciate Paul Keller doing some nice work, scampering like a little bunny, always getting the results. Joe Conlon from ETV doing the producing and directing, which we greatly appreciate. Margie Broman on camera 1. And this is Gus Broman giving the announcing. Thank you, Paul Keller. So in 24th place from Hastings, Alex Culp, lane 20. In 23rd place from Eastview, Benjamin Bells, lane 22nd. from Park, Ethan Cole. 21st place, Apple Valley, Aiden Call. 20th place from Woodbury, Sasha Munson. 19th, Woodbury's Will Manor. 18th place, Woodbury, John Worth. 17th place, Eagan's Vidan Shristas. And your point winners, starting in 16th place from East Ridge, Stephen Liu. 15th place, Parks Luke Dockendorf. 14th place, East Ridge, Ian Chow. 13th place from Rosemount, Jackson Pressey. 12th place from Eagan, Tyler Burby. 11th place from Apple Valley, Gabe Lenzen. 10th place from Hastings, Taylor Schmalls. 9th place from Rosemount, Noah Trinaski. From Eastview, 8th place, Alex Schmidt. 7th place from Woodbury, Aiden Tsao. 6th place, Hastings future pilot Oliver Gergen. 5th place from East Ridge, Poyraz Olgun. 4th place from Eagan, Louis Decatois. 3rd place from Eagan, Derek Bango. 2nd place from Rosemont, Josh Sikorsky. And your section winner for 2023 is East Ridge, Morgan Gillard. So your team standings through event 7 is placing East Ridge at 236, Eagan at 208.5, Rosemount at 192, Park at 116, Hastings at 92.5, Apple Valley at 64, Woodbury at 55, Eastview at 47. To the PA announcer for your medal ceremony.
Place from Eastview, Alex Schmidt. In 7th place from Woodbury, Aiden Tsao. In 6th place from Hastings, Oliver Gergen. In 5th place from Eastridge, Poyraz Olgun. In 4th place from Eagan, Louis Decatois. In 3rd place from Eagan, Derek Obang. In 2nd place, heading to state with a time of 48:46 from Rosemont, Josh Sikorsky. And your 2023 Section 3AA champion from Eastridge with a time of 47:42, Morgan Gillard.
See the medal ceremony there. Congratulations to Gillard for going to the Gene Freeman Aquatics Center at the University of Minnesota, one of the top 10 rated pools in the nation. There is a celebrity sighting in the stands tonight. That is Brenda Thermos, I believe. So good to see her here taking in the meet. Not sure who she's watching, but thanks for being here, Brenda. We're moving to the 500-yard freestyle.
We have 3 heats. Qualifying time for this event is 4:48.89. In heat 1 of lane 1, Sam Barnhart and Apple Valley. Lane 2, Nicholas Kaiser.
So in the 500 here, we'll wait till they get underway because we'll have a bit of time, and then we can see these swimmers as they go and be able to announce them as they swim. So give them the credit that they are due. I mean, if you're going to be gutsy and swim the longest event that is available in high school, you better get your name, grade, school, and everything listed. All right, in lane 1 from the Apple Valley Eagles is 9th grader Sam Barnhart. Lane 2 for the Apple Valley Eagles, sophomore Nicholas Kaiser. In lane 3 from the Woodbury Royals, 7th grader Alexander McElwain. Lane 4 from East Ridge, Carter Smith. Lane 5 from Park, sophomore Hayden Bonner. Lane 6 from Hastings is 8th grader Sammy Green. Lane 7 from Park, 10th grader Nick Ripka. Lane 8 junior for the Woodbury Royals, Kieran Mungavan. Your section champion for 2022 with a time of 4:38.96 is Evan Kinseth. Kinseth is the son of Carl Kinseth, a current assistant coach for the Eagan girls team, former assistant coach for the Rosemount boys team. Evan is now swimming at Miami University in Ohio. So he's there studying and swimming away. He continues on. This is easily my favorite section record to announce. It's 28 years old. All right. So if there is a section record that's 28 years old, who do you think has it? You've got to be a complete swimming wonk to know this. But once I say it, you might be like, oh, yeah, of course. So 28 years ago, from St. Thomas Academy, a guy by the name of Tom Malchow swam a 4:32.65. That was in February of 1995. He went on to become a bronze medalist in the butterfly for the U.S. Olympic team. So quite the name, Tom Malchow. Ended up coming back to the community and also sold some medical equipment out there in Seattle, but he was a swimmer for St. Thomas Academy. His head coach was John Barnes, who incidentally continues to coach at St. Thomas Academy. But Malchow was one of those swimmers back in the day. He would wait, and everyone else was waiting to turn, and Malchow would finish in. So some nice work by Joe Conlon getting us a great picture of Tom Malchow during his days. I'm telling you, I am humbled to work with some of the greats here at ETV. I mean, Joe Conlon is next level, folks. I mean, the amount of technology this guy knows, you'd think he's a teenager, but he just uses his wealth of expertise and shares it with you. So 28 years ago, Tom Malchow, bronze medalist. So fun to know, and a kind of a little known fact. And since then, there have been some Olympians who have come from this section. Actually, the most current one swam in this very pool. Can you think of the name? She was a backstroker from the most recent Olympics and actually swam with Riptide. Well, did swim at Lakeville North, so I'll let you think about that for a minute, because that one might come up quicker than Stillwater's Rachel Bootsma. She actually swam and won a gold medal. So a little known fact is in prelims, if you swim the prelims and get your relay team qualified to swim in finals, you actually get to get a gold medal. So you get the team, you qualify, and then you turn it over to your fastest swimmers, and then they will swim in the finals, and then they end up getting a gold medal as well. So it isn't just 4 people who get a medal, but it's everyone who swam to qualify. So anyway, Rachel Bootsma was out of Stillwater, and then the most recent Minnesota Olympian, did you guess it yet? Reagan Smith. So swam the 100-yard backstroke. Reagan Smith swam in this exact pool for Riptide, and has done some nice work as well. So we are getting some feedback on the socials, so we appreciate some of the people chiming in. So please log in and let us know that you're listening. All right, there's the bell. That bell that Ann Smith is ringing is given to the person with 1 lap to go. So it is your heat leader, Sammy Green during that bell, the 8th grader from the Hastings Raiders, swimming in the same water, touching the same walls as gold medalist Reagan Smith. Oh, a gutty performance there, turning in a 6:14.57. Definitely shaved some massive seconds off of that. So as these times come in, this is, out of all the events, this is the one where you'll see some of the biggest shaves here. Nicholas Kaiser in lane 2 shaved over 22 seconds off. Alexander McElwain in lane 3 shaved 4 seconds off. Lane 4, Carter Smith. He added 3 seconds, a little unusual. Lane 5, Hayden Bonner came in about the same time. I already mentioned Sammy Green, Nick Ripka in lane 7, 6:24, so he shaved 19 seconds off. And in lane 1, Sam Barnhart added a bit of time, but gutsy swim nonetheless. So this gets us to heat 2 of 3. Once again, time finals. Right, we'll give a little break here and let's see if you can hear the PA announcer, and then we'll announce the swimmers.
Quiet for the start, please. We are ready, Mr. Referee.
All right, let's give you the lineup of swimmers here in lane 1 from Park, senior David Lays. Lane 2 from East Ridge, Zachary Holzell. Lane 3 from Eastview, Ethan Beckman. Lane 4 from Eagan, Josiah Schopphausen. Lane 5 from Woodbury, junior Logan Ritter. Lane 6 from Eagan, junior Riley McRoberts. Lane 7 from Eagan, freshman Brad Simpson. Lane 8 from Hastings, 7th grader Russell Schultz. So 3 Eagan swimmers here. So top 16 score. So Eagan's looking to get some serious points here. Hopefully moving in front of all the East Ridge. They are the ones that kind of have their sights on. Once again, we will not know the final score of the meet till after diving tomorrow. And if I was a betting man, I would bet that Eagan would outpoint the other school in diving tomorrow. They have 3 super solid divers that will be doing the work between Owen Cook and sophomore Stone Larson. They will be doing some magic on the board. Sam Johnson also will be diving, as well as Clark Amon Marshall. So look for Eagan to be doing well off the boards. Amy Carlson, simply a fantastic coach. Has coached at Eagan for many years, took a break, came back. Also coaches the Rosemont girls diving team. There's one year that there's only 2 schools that had 2 divers at state. It was Eagan and Wayzata. And there's only one school that had 3, and that was Amy Carlson's Eagan Wildcats. So hopefully they can send 3 divers to state after tomorrow morning's meet. Wouldn't that be fantastic? So, yeah, I would bet that Eagan would outpoint the other schools in that. So if they're leading in tonight, that would be a very good sign. So you see the counters on the end of the pool, denoting how many laps are left in the meet. Sorry, not in the meet, but in the race. You know, the going up and down is always gives a good sign. It is interesting, I do have to say, in lane 3 there is, I don't know if that's a team manager or not. Usually they do not let non-competitors on the deck, so not sure where that's coming from. Girlfriend or a sister, not exactly sure. Who am I? It is exciting. You want to have someone good at math and knows the time. So you're talking about the 500. Even though the section champ last year was Evan Kinseth, Jackson Keller actually 2 years ago won the 500-yard freestyle. The gentleman who, former Eagan swimmer who's gone on to the University of Utah. You want a negative split, and what that means is you want to keep your pace the same, and then in the last half of the meet you want to start getting faster and faster. But boy, does that take some discipline and self-control. But that is exactly what this sport teaches, and this grit and determination that these boys do by swimming the yards that they do and being able to kind of keep some gas in the tank for the end of the race. That is not an easy feat. So when I talk about having swimming over 300 plus miles, that's the grit and determination that these athletes have done. So if you ever see if you're hiring someone and it says past high school swimmer, that's a good person to hire, because you know they have grit and determination. I'm looking in the stands tonight. It's a lot of family and just a few really close friends. I mean, it is a tough sport to watch. All right, who earns that bell? It is none other than Josiah Schaffhausen of Eagan. Riley McRoberts doing a nice job on that turn, and he's now in second place. He's getting after it. 5:26.77 is Schaffhausen's seed time. 5:38.28 is Riley McRoberts. State qualifying time is 4:48.89. Schaffhausen is doing a splendid job. He is going to get in well beneath his seed time. He touches in at a 5:21.09. Nice job, Riley McRoberts. 5:26.20. Are you even kidding me? That's a 12.08 drop by Riley McRoberts. Well done, my friend. And Schaffhausen dropping 5.7 seconds. Man, Chris Morgan has gotten these guys ready to go, shaved and tapered. Fastskins on and suited up. Boy, you watch. I mean, that 5:21.09 by Schaffhausen, I mean, you'll have to take a look. Maybe that's one to weasel him into that top 8 position. We will see. There is one time that is slower than that for the seed time, and that's in lane 8 in that final heat from Rosemount, Nolan Hansen. All right. We're going to do the introductions of the racers while they're swimming, because look at these guys coming out of the pool. I mean, this is laying it all on the line. Think about this mentally, what's going on. It is the only sport you have no idea what your end result is until you're done. These guys have had their head in the water for 5 minutes and 21 seconds, and they had no idea if was it faster or slower than the last time you had it. They don't know until they touch that wall, look at the clock. That is like no other sport. I mean, even in track, you can kind of glance at the scoreboard. And basketball, when I'd shoot free throws, I'd know if it was going in before it was done. I knew how I was doing before the game ended. Here, you have no idea if you won till the last second. All right, this is your final heat of the 500-yard freestyle. In lane 1 from Eastridge, senior Ethan Olson. Lane 2 from Rosemount, senior Sullivan Labno. Lane 3 from Hastings, freshman Tristan Herbst. Lane 4 from East Ridge, senior Nathan Langstraight. Lane 5, Woodbury, sophomore Derek Stadheim. Lane 6 from Rosemount, sophomore Will Durfee. Lane 7 from Eagan, sophomore Mason Dietering. Lane 8, as we mentioned, from Rosemount, freshman Nolan Hansen. Look for Langstraight to really actually hit that qualifying time, but once again, it could be a situation where he's not tapering yet. He might be trying to swim through this, but even yet, I mean, a competitor knows that there's someone beside him and he wants to finish it off. He's gonna have to swim his own race too, by the way. The second seed is 12 seconds slower than him, so he's gonna have to just swim his race and know what that internal clock says and just stay with it. As mentioned, Kinseth last year, the section winner, won a 4:38. That record is probably safe this year. Let's check in on our Eagan boys. How they doing out there? Mason Dietering in lane 7 is holding that 7th place spot. Langstraight continuing to look strong, just gliding. You know, I was a basketball guy and a soccer guy myself. I had 3 boys who were swimmers, and this year I was like, you know what? That takes a lot of discipline and a lot of hard work, and your body gets in pretty good shape. I think I'm going to start swimming. So I started swimming, and I've been going to the Y, swimming about 35 minutes. Oh my Lanta, does that feel good. It feels like I ran 6 miles, lifted weights for 15 minutes, and stressed for 10 minutes, and I get that all within 35 minutes. Thought I was doing pretty well, and I was telling my son, I was like, man, I feel a little bit, I don't have the most efficient stroke. He's like, Dad, you're so lucky. You have the least efficient stroke in the water. That means you burn the most calories, have the best workout. So not signing up for any races, so I guess I took that as a compliment. Langstraight continuing on in lane 4, just building that ginormous lead. Your race really is for second place, which it really is. I mean, if you get that second place, you get that state qualifying time. And right there, Herbst in lane 3 and Stadheim in lane 5 touched him at exactly the same time. So it's a skill to have, is be able to breathe out of both sides of your mouth, because then you're able to get a quick little glance at where they're at. And these guys really are doing that. And just as close as the race for second place is, the race for 4th place is also in that next spot, with Labno in lane 2 and Durfee in lane 6. So that's what makes it really fun in swimming, is that your competitors, besides that lane 1, you're kind of 2 lanes away, then 4 lanes away, then 6 lanes away, but they're continuing to get going on this. So Langstraight is doing a great job getting it done. His splits are at that 30-second mark, which is kind of where you want to be at that level to qualify for state. The race for second looks to be going to Stadheim of Woodbury. However, Herbst of Hastings is not letting that go at all. And check out the outside smoke of Sullivan Labno of the Rosemount Irish in lane 2. His kick is coming alive. Langstraight earns the bell, but are you kidding me? Sullivan is just going crazy. In lane 2, next to Herb's dad of Hastings in the stands, and he's burning as many calories as I am watching his son go. Because that race is for second place. He has 1 more push to go. And oh my Lanta, Sullivan Labno of the Irish is going to get that second place, isn't he? He sure is. He just left a lot in the tank, negative split it, and he got that. Oh, very nice finish there. And Herbst did a very nice drop of over 5 seconds to get a 4:59.11. Langstraight finishing in with the 4:47.82. So we earned a state qualifying time by time and placement. And congratulations to the second place finisher, Sullivan Labno, dropping 11 seconds, 11.5 seconds to get that second place. Boy, he was just kicking like crazy. One might say he's a sandbagger, but you just never know. You never know where that seed time came from. Was that week 1 of the season? But without prelims, these seed times could be wildly off. You just never know. But congratulations. So there are only 2 state qualifiers here for that event, event 8. And Tom Melchow, if you're watching, your record is still intact, so you don't need to text congratulations to anyone this evening. So congratulations, and can't wait to be here next year to say the 29-year state record. So he did wear goggles. Goggles were still a thing 29 years ago, so don't give him too much credit, but congratulations, Tom Melchow. So the race is tightening up for first place. I mean, East Ridge had 2 guys in that finals, and Ethan Olson, he did get 8th place, and Mason Dietering, let's see here, he was over there in lane 7, finished about what his seed was, so good for him. But definitely a hardy race. So little known fact is that the 500 is actually considered a middle event in college. Once these boys hit over to college, there's the 1,000 and the mile, so it's kind of a shorter race. But a 500, that's good health to you. And once again, to have your head down in the water and have no idea what your time is until you touch into that wall, you have no idea. So just a great race, and definitely builds character to be able to continue on and just kick. So another technical item is in order to be a great 500 swimmer, the engine comes from the kick. So if you look at your body, your biggest muscles are in your legs and your butt. Those are the big muscles, and your arms are actually much smaller muscles. So similar to a motorboat, they throw the motor in the back. And so you're just kicking hard. And so if you're kicking hard, your body elevates. And so that makes you flat in the water. If you're not kicking, your legs go down in the water and you're creating that drag. So think about the fastest boats in the world are like those cigarette boats where there's hardly any of the boat in the water. It's just hopping. That's what you're really wanting in swimming as well, to have your big engine kicking in the back. The second you stop kicking, your legs start dragging and you just created automatic drag. So you might look at your arms and say, hey, they need to move their arms and swim faster, but that's actually counterintuitive. You want the engine is in the legs. So, and it's all about creating that streamline and barely moving your head, breathing. And if you look at some of those fastest 500-yard swimmers, it's all about just barely moving your head to catch a quick breath and keep going. Keep that straight line, streamline. So we're grateful for Greg Jorgensen. He's chugging the numbers, doing the District 196 math. Appreciative of Paul Keller, scampering like a little bunny, getting us the end results. And we do have your final results. So in 24th place from Apple Valley, Sam Barnhart. 23rd place from Woodbury, Kieran Mungavan. 22nd place from East Ridge, Carter Smith. 21st place from Park, Hayden Bonner. 20th place from Park, Nick Ripka. 19th place from Woodbury, Alexander McElwain. 18th place from Apple Valley, Nicholas Kaiser. 17th place from Hastings, Russell Schulk. And your point winners from Hastings, 16th place, Sammy Green. 15th place from Park, David Lays. 14th place from Eagan, Brad Simpson. 13th place from East Ridge, Zachary Holzen. 12th place from Eastview, Ethan Beckman. 11th place from Woodbury. I'll turn it over to the medal ceremony. We'll get back to these.
In 7th place, Nolan Hansen of Rosemont. In 6th place, Mason Dietering of Eagan.
Nice job, Mason.
5th place, Will Durfee of Rosemont. 4th place was Derek Stadheim of Woodbury. 3rd place was Tristan Herbst of Hastings. In 2nd place, heading to state with a time of 4:55.63 from Rosemont, Sullivan Labno. And your 2023 500 free champion with a time of 4:47.82 from Eastridge, Nathan Longstrot.
Good job, Longstrot. But in 10th place from Eagan, Riley McRoberts. 9th place from Eagan, Josiah Schaffhausen. 8th place from Eastridge, Ethan Olson. 7th place from Rosemount, Nolan Hansen. 6th place from Eagan, Mason Dietering. 5th place from Rosemount, Will Durfee. 4th place from Woodbury, Derek Standheim. 3rd place from Hastings, Tristan Herbst. 2nd place, who came out of nowhere, Rosemount, Sullivan Labno. And Nathan Langstraight from East Ridge in 1st place. So your state qualifiers are Mr. Langstraight and Mr. Labno. So you're through the Event 8. Here are your team rankings. East Ridge is back in 1st place with a 271. Eagan is in 2nd with 240.5. Rosemount shortly behind with a 235. Park in 4th place with 118. Hastings in 5th place with a 109.5. Woodbury in 6th place with 76. Apple Valley in 7th place with 64. Eastview in 8th place with 52. So it is tight. I mean, once again, the diving on Saturday, Eagan will be able to score some monster points there. So there will be a quick break here because after that 500-yard freestyle, if you're good at the freestyle, you're probably going to be in that 200-yard freestyle relay, and that is the next event. So incidentally, in terms of strategy, we talked about this earlier in prelims. Many times you swim athletes that aren't your absolute fastest, that might not be your A relay, especially in this. Prelims for relays are actually an absolute joke because what you're swimming for is to just get a lane, and you will get a lane no matter what. So it's more about getting the feel and that type of thing at prelims. So many times a coach will say, hey, they'll take their 3rd or 4th fastest swimmer and say, hey, safe starts, safe transitions, and just make sure no DQs, because you're going to get a lane because there are only 8 teams and 8 teams qualify. So let me mention that the 2022 champ was East Ridge with Abrahamson, Gillard, Sparks, Salzback. So they brought back 2 of their swimmers tonight. They went a 128.80. The section record was set by Rosemount way back in 2013 by Ernest, Bodine, Kendall, and Hatlin. Kendall went on to swim at St. Cloud State, and they went a 126.84. State qualifying time is a 129.6. But the top 2 qualify. Your seed time, the only team that has the seed time is East Ridge, who will, they are actually seeded with a All-American potential time of a 127.01. So it should be interesting, their strategy. Are they going to go out and try to grab a section record and try to, go 0.4 seconds faster and grab that section record, or you're going to play it safe and get a lane at state? We'll see. 200-yard freestyle is 4 guys swimming 50 yards, so most of it is done in the transitions. And you know, Eagan was able to swim yesterday and get the pool opened up, and it's really timing, knowing what these athletes are doing. So let me read you some of the athletes who are swimming this, because it's going to go too fast. Because in lane 1, Park, it'll be Jackson Hare, 2, Luke Dockendorf, Damian Charpentier, Logan Schweiger. Lane 2 will be Woodbury. Swimming for them is Phil Lorenz, Will Manor, Logan Ritter, Sasha Munson. Lane 3 for Rosemount will be Sullivan Labno, Will Durfee, Noah Srinaski, Nolan Hansen. For East Ridge, lane 4 will be Neil Abrahamson, Nathan Langstraight, Vincent Zhang, and Morgan Gillard. Lane 5 for Eagan will be Derek Bango, Braden Hagenbarth, Alex Bango, Thomas Keller. Lane 6 for Hastings will be Taylor Schmalz, Tristan Herbst, Charlie Jensen, Oliver Gergen. Lane 7 will be Eastview's Owen Unton, Ethan Beckman, Jacob Linscheid, Alex Schmidt. For the Apple Valley Eagles, in lane 8 will be Luke Klopp. Second swimmer will be Aiden Call. Third swimmer will be Bridger Cook. And Dylan Amarambandhu. So just to mention, in the program it lists your starters and alternates. I was not informed of any alternates, so I just read who was listed as a starter. So my apologies if there's someone else, and I can confirm in lane 1 that is Jackson Hare, because I can read his cap. It was a solid start by all teams. Everyone was still as statues at that start. Yep, and it is Abrahamson coming out strong for East Ridge, but Sullivan in lane 5 still has that kick from, Derek Bango. He's doing a great job. He's in second place, sending Braden Hagenbarth. So Egan's holding on in second. And then it is Rosemount, Will Durfee. So we'll see what Alex Bango has in the tank. It's good to see Alex and Derek, the Bango bros, doing their thing. It's fun when brothers are on the blocks together, and Eagan is still in that second place with Alex in the water now. So we'll see if we can hang on to it here with Alex doing his thing. And I thought it was going to be Thomas Keller, and it is Thomas Keller, your last swimmer. So Eagan is in the thick of things here with East Ridge sending in Thomas Keller, and my money would be on Eagan right now getting that second place finish. Keller has a motor on that boat. Is that an Evinrude? Oh my Lance, at that turn, he's taking East Ridge to it. Come on, Keller, get on with it. That is a great swim by Mr. Thomas Keller. So East Ridge is doing what it was expected. They get a 1:28.09, but your surprise of this race, thank you very much, Eagan, qualified with a 1:28.74. Your first Eagan Wildcat relay thing. That is great. That is a great state qualifying cut right there for the Eagan Wildcats. So remember, in the point scoring, relays are worth double the points. So that is a monster thing, and we realize that, yes, I know East Ridge got first, so they got that, so they'll get the 40 points. Meanwhile, Eagan will get the 34 points for second place, but boy, was that a great finish there. Good to see them drop almost 2 seconds, but that's Chris Morgan doing his work. Giving the speeches, doing things. So yeah, I got to see some of that happen through the years. And like I said, as a parent, when you're sitting for these interminable meets for 4 to 6 hours, one of the fun things to do is really check in and say, okay, which team is really shaving well? And then that's when you can really tell what coach has got it going on. So that is a really fun thing to do. So so looking at these athletes here, it's fun to see the Derek and Alex the brothers of the Bango, just doing a great job. Their parents have been so involved in this Wildcat swim community. I talked about a couple of the guys that are going to carry a big weight on their shoulders going into this next season. It is Derek Bango. I mean, as a junior, a lot of good things are expected of him. He needs to carry on and live this legacy. So him and Miggy San Jose, Derek Bango, because there cannot be a dip between the culture. And Chris Morgan, I mean, he just transformed this culture when he took over this program 16 years ago. And in those 16 years, he has made this easily the most successful boys sport at Eagan High School. It's the only one that has been eight times straight champions. Thank you to Greg Jorgensen doing his work that he's done for many, many years. But yeah, Chris can transform the culture, but it really helps if you're able to do it where you don't have to start over, but where you have some of the guys that will continue on year after year. So just know that you have a lot ahead of you and a lot on your shoulders, Derek. But yeah, let me read off to you where we're at with the point totals. East Ridge is in first with 311. Eagan is at second with 274.5. Rosemount at 267. Park with 142. Hastings at 139.5. Woodbury at 102. Apple Valley at 86. Eastview at 80. So math was never my thing. And I miss Vlad Shub. He would tell me the stories on
the 200 free relay.
On who would be winning. But rubbing the temples, Eagan really needs to be, within 40 points going into diving to do the magic. I'll be quiet during the medal ceremonies. These boys deserve the best in some airtime.
In 7th place, the team from Park, Jackson Hari, Luke Dockendorf, Damien Charpentier, and Logan Swigert. In 6th place, the team from Woodbury, Logan Ryder, Phil Lawrence, John Worth, and Will Manor. In 5th place from Eastview, Alex Schmidt, Ethan Beckman, Owen Unton, and Jacob Linscheid. In 4th place, the team from Hastings, Taylor Schmaltz, Charlie Jensen, Tristan Herbst, and Oliver Gergen. In 3rd place from Rosemont, Noah Sranaski, Sawyer Smith, Sullivan Labno, and Will Durfee. In 2nd place, heading to state with a time of 1:28.74 from Eagan, Derek Obang, Braden Hagenbarth, Alex Obang, and Thomas Keller. And your 2023 champions with a time of 1:28.09 from Eastridge, Neil Abramson, Nathan Longstrot, Vincent Jong, and Morgan Gillard.
Okay, good job by the Eagan boys. It's going to be fun to have a
reminder to our head coaches, please make sure you bring your section coaching ballot.
A relay in the state finals. So this is getting us to the backstroke, which is quite exciting. Eagan, looking into the psych sheet, Miggy San Jose is in that number 2 seed. So love to see him snag that and have another state qualifier. Aiden Smith is in a point seed position at 12th. Josiah Schophausen at 15th. But all eyes are on Reese Heenis-Cook, seated 19th. So if he could move up 3, he'd snag some points for your Wildcats. So, this gets us to event number 10, the backstroke. Want to take this time to thank Joe Conlon, who is doing most of the magic here tonight, producing and directing. So thank you to him and his dedication, hauling the gear out super early. So that's just wonderful, and we appreciate that a ton. Margie Broman on camera 1, Paul Keller on camera 2, and also running up and down the steps. So also special thanks to the Eagan Swim and Dive Boys Boosters officers, President Gwen Dietering, Secretary Corrine Decatois, and also Treasurer Kelly Larson. They do a ton for the program, and they are selling Girton Spring Flowers, which is the major fundraiser. So please contact a Eagan swimmer and get that done. I mean, I'll tell you, the worst place to be isn't the Mall of America on Black Friday. It is Girton's the Saturday before Mother's Day. So have these boys hand deliver your Mother's Day flowers to your house. So here we are in the backstroke. So back to live swimming, heat 1 of 4. In lane 3 from Eastview is Ethan Misakanis. Lane 4 from Park, David Lays. Lane 5 from Hastings, Cody Stewart. Lane 6 from Apple Valley, Gavin Curry. Your 2022 champion was Philip Jensen from Hastings with a 51.91. Here you go. Here's a historic name. Ratcheting back to 2003, 20 years ago from Apple Valley, Mike Z, 50.47. Here you go to the bowels of the Apple Valley Middle School. You will see Mike Z's name splattered all over that record board. You also see a guy by the name of Rates, who went on to swim at the U of M. So many old-time records in that pool, so quite historic. So congratulations to Ethan Misakanis, who won that heat, the 1:11.35, so he dropped 4.9 seconds. So heat 2 is going to be in lane 1 from Woodbury, Ben Lunzer. Lane 2 from Woodbury, Eli Faulkner. Lane 3 from Eagan, Reese Heenis-Cook. Lane 4 from Hastings, James Jensen. Lane 5 from Rosemount, Josh Saleh. Lane 6 from Park, Zach Crook. Lane 7 from Woodbury, Andrew Choi. Lane 8 from East Ridge, Jamison Reese. So in order to get some points here, Reese Heenis-Cook would have to win, probably win this heat and beat one other person in the next heat. So tough draw to do, but that's what his eyes are on, and I bet you $1,000 Chris Morgan told him that's the task ahead, so we'll see. Ann Smith is saying relax. It seems like there's a goggle issue there over there in lane 8. Jamison Reese from East Ridge. He's getting the clap. The patronizing clap from his own squad started there. Lifetime memory there. Let it be a note to you, buy Speedo goggles, folks. That was not a paid advertisement at all. So in the water, look at that underwater. The rule is you can go underwater half the length of the pool. None of these guys quite did that, but you do have that. Ooh, the goggle readjustment in lane 8. Jamison Reese, maybe he just needed an extra second to think about his race, because that is, I'm telling you, that's better than a timeout, as they say in basketball when they fake an injury. But he's coming out like gangbusters, kind of lost it there. Good job by Reese Cook, because on that turn, he took that first place. He's doing what we were talking about. He's doing exactly what we were talking about. We were saying if he wins this and beats out one other person, he's pointing up for the Eagan Wildcats. Reese Cook, do your stuff. Did he hear us up here? This is just absolutely wonderful. Reese Cook, those paddles are just going. The oars are just like he's up at the boundary waters getting the job done. What is he going to touch in at? He had a seed time of 108.18. He touches in at, are you kidding me, a 104.05? Thank you, Reese Cook. Drops over 4 seconds in a backstroke. Like, remember that time, folks, as we're going into the second to last heat, a 104.05. I mean, if all he has to do is beat one other swimmer and he will gain a point for the Eagan Wildcats. That was a huge swim by the senior Reese Cook. See, that's the kind of pedigree that I was talking about earlier on. Like that type of grit, Reese Cook saw that 3 years ago. Back when Eagan was, you know, when times were normal and people were just doing what they needed to do. That's the kind of swim. That was a great swim, Mr. Cook. Fantastic. Now, this puts us into Heat 3, which is the top 16 for the seed times. And in lane 1 from Eagan is Josiah Schaffhausen. Lane 2 for Woodbury is Phil Lorenz. Lane 3 for Hastings is Adam Dewar. Lane 4 for Eastridge is Colton Rutkowski. Lane 5 for Hastings is Thomas Foss. Lane 6 for Eagan is Aiden Smith. Lane 7 for Park is Logan Schweigert. Lane 8 for Eastview is Owen Kanasaki. 2 Eagan swimmers here. Can they point up? That's a question. So Josiah Schaffhausen is seated 7th in this race. He's in lane 1. He's a swimmer to watch. He has the most ability to move up here. But I mean, he's at a 105.8. Aiden Smith is at a 102.89. Those are the seed times. So look at those and see where those end up. So very good underwater. Schaffhausen doing a nice job there. Let's see how Schaffhausen does on this turn. Flip turn, goes underwater. Nice underwater. He's not coming up yet. Now he's going. It's always tough to time it. How long do you stay underwater? When do you start getting up and doing the job? But boy, is it good to see Aiden Smith doing work in lane 6. He is right in the thick of things, folks. He is, if he's not in second, he's in third, but it looks like he's in second. Schaffhausen's doing what he can to try to get that 7th place. Need another good turn by Aiden Smith, and we got it. Okay, what does he have for the oars? Can he paddle it out like Reese Cook did? He's trying to move up, and Schaffhausen doing what he can to get 7th. What's he doing there? And where do we end up, folks? Aiden Smith in lane, are you kidding me? Nice job. Lane 6, a 1:75. He dropped 2.1. Nice work, Mr. Smith. And Schaffhausen moves up to a 103.28. So instead of getting 7th, he moves into the 5th place. Nice job, gentlemen. That's exactly what Eagan needs at this point in the meet. Moving up, if every guy just moves up 1 or 2 spots, that's what we need. Schaffhausen, nice work. Man, he did a great job there, as well as Aiden Smith. Backstroke might be the most improved event for the Eagan tonight. Lane 1 will be for East Ridge, Blake Moss. Lane 2 will be from Rosemont, Spencer Rudd. Lane 3 from East Ridge, Aiden Haverman. Lane 4 for Rosemount is Matthew Warwig. Lane 5 for Eagan is Mickey San Jose. Lane 6 for Apple Valley is Jovan Langseth. Lane 7 for Park is Parker Jesuritz. Lane 8 is Josh Lee. So it should be noted there are 2 East Ridge swimmers here going after it. So Miggy San Jose, you got your work cut out for you, young man. So like I said, he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders for continuing on the culture. Miggy is in the thick of things. He's Looks like he's in 4th at the turn, close to 5th, getting that kick underwater. Boy, is Warwick way out in front, as well he should be according to the seed time. Miggy is doing what he can. A nice flip turn. What's he got off that wall? I see that kick above water. He wanted to keep that underwater a little bit more, but it looks like he might be able to sneak in at that 3rd spot. Keep going, Miggy, keep going. Get it under, finish this off. He got that. Nice work, Mr. San Jose. Let's see where he's at. He actually added time, a little bit surprising. He went a 55.5, and that 3rd place does not get him into state. He is quite upset about that. Not the best swim that San Jose could have done, and good to see the heart being displayed there. He's had better moments, and he'll have better moments in the future, so that is a learning experience there for San Jose. The event did go to Warwick with a 52.59, so he actually added time. It is a state qualifying time, as well as second place goes to a 54.49, and that was earned by East Ridge, Aiden Haverman, and that is a 54.49 is not a state qualifying time. But he gets to go based on placement. So that is just, so the top 2 go. So, but I'm telling you, Haverman with that time, that's a guy to watch at the Gene Freeman Aquatic Center at the University of Minnesota, because he will be making a bang there. So. So it will be interesting there. San Jose, as I mentioned, in lane 5, got 3rd place. That was what he was seated for. So he was upset that he added time, but he got his placement. And when all is said and done, Schaffhausen, Smith, and Reese Heenis Cook, they moved up and they did their work. So Paul Keller is doing a shuttle run right now, and we will see what these team scores are. Thank you, Mr. Keller. And yep, the gap got a little bit further here. So East Ridge is in 1st place with 348. Eagan is at a 302. The magic number, guessing number, is about a 40, if give or take 39 or 41. So it's at 46 right now. Rosemount is at 301. Park is at 157. Hastings in 5th place, 151. Apple Valley 113. Woodbury 105. Eastview 80. So I'll try to read what I can before the medal ceremony starts, but 27th place from Hastings, Cody Stewart. 26th place, Park, David Lays. Over to the medal ceremony.
In 7th place, Josh Lee of Apple Valley. In 6th place, Parker Jesuits of Park. In 5th place, Spencer Rudd of Rosemont. In 4th place is Jovan Langseth of Apple Valley. In 3rd place, Miguel San Jose of Eagan. Heading to state with a time of 54.49 in 2nd place from Eastridge, Aiden Haverman. And your 2023 backstroke champion with a time of 52.59 from Rosemont, Matthew Warwig.
From Woodbury, Ben Lunzer. 24th place from Eastview, Ethan Misakanis. 23rd place from Woodbury, Eli Faulkner. 22nd place from Woodbury, Andrew Choi. Tie for 20th place from Park, Zach Crook. Tied with Rosemount, Jess Soleil. 19th place from East Ridge, Jamison Reese. 18th place from Hastings, James Jensen. 17th place from Eastview, Owen Kanasaki. 16th place, Mr. Reese Heenis Cook. Way to grab that point, man. And 15th place from Park, Logan Schweigert. 14th place from Woodbury, Phil Lorenz. 13th place from Eagan, Josiah Schaffhausen. 12th place from Hastings, Adam Dewar. 10th place, a tie from Eagan, Aiden Smith. And Hastings, Thomas Foss, and Eastridge. In 9th place was Colton Rutkowski. And you heard the medal ceremony with the top 8. This gets us to the breaststroke, possibly Eagan's best event of the meet. And they're off in lane 3 from Woodbury, freshman Colton Larson. Lane 4 from Park, 7th grader Paul Wallace. Lane 5, Apple Valley freshman Caleb Freerich. So your section champion from 2022 is Quinlan Schroeder of Rosemount with a .07. Section record is Sam Pekarik from Eastview, 56.57. He went on to swim at Yale University. Great kid, great family, so it's good to see Pekarik still has a record on the books for Eastview. State qualifying time is a 59.78. I expect one person to snatch that, and that would be your section champ from last year, Quinlan Schroeder. So expecting him to get back-to-back championships here for the section. We'll see what happens, but back to our boys from Eagan. If diving isn't the best event that Eagan has, it would be the breaststroke. They have 3 guys in the final heat and 1 guy who's seated second in the second to last heat, so meaning he's seated 10th. So we will see how this goes. You know, once again, the magic number is about 40. And Eagan is at 46, so they are in striking distance. Right, this race went to 123, Paul Wallace. 2nd place goes to Colton Larson. 3rd place in that heat goes to Apple Valley's Caleb Freerich. So heat 2 of 4 coming up. There are no Eagan gentlemen in this heat, but in lane 1 is from Hastings, Sammy Green. Lane 2, Woodbury's Owen Rogers. Lane 3, Hastings, Tyler Wood. Lane 4, Apple Valley's Luke Klopp. Lane 5, from Woodbury, Noah Schmidt. Lane 6 from Eastview, Blake Sundberg. Lane 7 from Apple Valley, Nicholas Kaiser. A little bit of wiggle in lane 2 with Owen Rogers, but he held it. Good to see the pull out here. I love this race. I mean, when I swim this is kind of my recovery stroke, but this is a race. It is completely different than all the other events. This doesn't have anything to do with the dolphin kick, nothing to do with that, but it's really knowing how to be streamlined, knowing how to be long and strong. I mean, just completely different. So much technique, so technical. Luke Klopp doing a nice job getting the big turn. Came out of the water awfully high on that. A little too high, went a little deep and grabbed some oysters there, but he's back at it in 1st place of this heat. It's always a tough one when you're close to the wall. Do I do another stroke? Do I flip? Do I glide? You just really have to know your body and know where it's going at. Klopp doing a nice job. Noah Schmidt from Woodbury sneaking up on him. But it's looking like Blake Sundberg in lane 6. But what's Noah doing? It's all the timing. Who's hitting first? Oh, man. Yeah, see, that is exactly what I'm saying. Do you take another stroke? Do you glide in? And that was exactly what happened with Noah Schmidt and Blake Sundberg there. Noah kind of did the glide. Blake said, I'm going to do 2 quick ones and touch in. So this gets us a heat 3 of 4. In lane 1 is Nihal Chima. Lane 2 from Rosemount, Jackson Pressey. Lane 3 from East Ridge, Ryan Green. Lane 4 from East Ridge, Ian Chow. Lane 5 from Eagan, Will Wynn. Lane 6 from Hastings, Charlie Jensen. Lane 7 from Eastview, Jacob Linscheid. Lane 8 from Hastings, Garrett Watterson. So a lot of weight is on Will Wynn's shoulder. Could he move up? I mean, his seed time is a 109.12, so he certainly will need to get under Ryan Green from East Ridge over there in lane 3. He will also need to see what he can do with Ian Chow to try to point up. In that final heat, there's only one East Ridge swimmer, but there is 3 Eagan swimmers. So big points coming for Eagan if they can do that. But our eyes are in lane 5 for Will Wynn. What you up to, Will? He's hanging in there, but there is outside smoke with Jacob Linscheid in lane 7. Will Wynn getting it done. Lane 2 is also Jackson Pressey from Rosemount. This race is all goofed up. You do not see a flying V at all. There's outside smoke there with lane 2, Jackson Pressey. I'm wondering when that seat time happened. Was it November or what? Will Wynn, what you got on this turn? He hit the wall nice. What's that pull out like? He pops up and he's still in 3rd, so it's all in this last final 12 yards here. It does look like it will be Jackson Pressey. No, Will, don't look to the side. Race it out, man. All right, he touches in. And where is he at? Gets 2nd place. Thank you, Will. Very nice, a 107.9. But Will Wynn, watch this replay. Margie Broman has you on the clock. You looked over to lane 2. You should not be doing that. I'll let you talk to Coach Chris Morgan or Tyler Husko on that. But good job. A 107.98. You shaved 1.4 seconds off, so nice work. And more importantly, you Will Wynn, you kept your 2nd place seed, so way to protect that. So nice work. So now this gets us to our heat 4 of 4, and it's going to look like an Eagan Wildcat practice there in lanes 1, 2, and 3, because you have Eagan Braden Hagenbarth in lane 1, Eagan's Alex Bango in lane 2, Eagan's Dobbin Chong in lane 3, who just recently swam the fastest time of the year. And then you have Quinlan Schroeder, the section defending champion there in lane 4. Lane 5 from Park is Mason Darling. Lane 6 from East Ridge, Jacob Eastman. Lane 7 is Woodbury's Raymond Webb. Lane 8 is Park's Jack Schweigert. And they are off. Come on, Wildcats. What you got? They're pulling out. Come on. Dobbin Chong, it should be noted, just in the last meet, he came out of nowhere to get the fastest time for Eagan of the year. So was it an anomaly or was it a new trend? We will find out tonight. I mean, it'll be tough. I mean, Quinlan Schroeder is seated over 3 seconds faster than everyone. And then your next guy is Mason Darling, way over there in lane 5. So it's difficult to see in a breaststroke because as teasing Will Wynn, you should not be looking side to side. You need to be faced up, doing your stuff. So Hagenbarth is in 8th place right now. He's seated 7th. We'll see if there's some magic in on this last 25, but it will be Quinlan Schroeder, no doubt, being back-to-back section champs. And then Mason Darlin will be touching in. And where are we at? Dobbin Chong, is it there? Oh, you log glide in. Oh my Lanta, 103.99. I did not think he would reach out there. A 103.99, so he did add a little bit. Alex Bango ends up getting in 5th place, so 105.14, dropping 0.2. And a 108, Hagenbarth adds a little bit there. He gets 8th place, but good points by your Eagan Wildcats there. You know, as I mentioned earlier on, as we're looking at Dobbin Chong congratulating his buddy Alex Bango, I mean, it is you're not quite sure. Do you swim? Do you take one more? Do you take two short ones, or do you take one long glide? And Chong took that one long glide, and I'm telling you, I was breaststroking up here at the table here with Joe Conlon. I was like trying to get in and hit that wall, and oh my Lance, I was going crazy. And it is so nice not to be a parent and go, what the whoops are you doing? But you just enjoy what you're seeing. Whereas in a freestyle, you just keep going, kick, and moving the arms, and then you just smash into the wall. But it's all that timing on that breaststroke. But what do I know? But so fun to watch. And folks, this brings us to event 12, the final event of the evening, not the final event of the meet. The final event of the meet is going to be tomorrow at 10:30 at Dakota Hills Middle School. It will be a kind of a historic event. It's the first time in the history of Eagan High School that the section trophy will be given out on property there. So where we're at right now is East Ridge is at 372, Eagan is at 347, Rosemount at 336, Park in fourth place, 185, Hastings 155, Woodbury is at 117, Apple Valley at 115, Eastview at 85. Amy Carlson, I'm sure you're watching this. I hope you are giving your diving boys a pep talk, and I've known you, what is it? I don't want to say if it's 15 years or 16, but I know you long enough, and I know you are. You are getting them hyped up to do their magic tomorrow. So, because this last freestyle, once again, East Ridge has been the fastest seed times in all the events. So that certainly will be a challenge to come. So we're going to over the medal ceremony.
In 7th place from Woodbury, Raymond Webb. In 6th place from Eagan, Alex Obang. In 5th place from Eastridge, Jacob Eastman. In 4th place from Rosemont, Jackson Prussy. In 3rd place from Eagan, Dobbin Chong. In 2nd place, heading to state with a time of 1:01:14 from Park, Mason Darling. And your 2023 breaststroke champion with a time of 57:95 from Rosemont, Quinlan Schroeder.
23rd place, Paul Wallace. 22nd place from Woodbury, Owen Rogers. 21st place, Nicholas Kaiser. In 20th place from Hastings, Tyler Wood. 19th place from Woodbury, Noah Schmidt. 18th place from Eastview, Blake Sunberg. 17th place from East Ridge, Nihal Chima. 16th place, your first point gatherer, Hastings, Garrett Watterson. 15th place, Apple Valley's Luke Klopp. 14th place, Charlie Jensen from Hastings. 13th place, East Ridge's Ian Chows. 12th place from Eastview, Jacob Linscheid. 11th place from East Ridge, Ryan Green. 10th place from Eagan, Braden Hegenbarth. 9th place from Eagan, Will Win. I'll read the top 8 now. Park, Jack Schweigert. 7th place, Woodbury's Raymond Webb. 6th place, Egan's Alex Bango. 5th place, East Ridge, Jacob Eastman. 4th place, Rosemount's Jacob Prussy. 3rd place from Eagan, Dobbin Chong. 2nd place, Park, Mason Darling. And back-to-back section winner, state qualifier from Rosemont, Quinlan Schroeder. So that brings us to the final event from the meet. The final event for the evening, not of the meet. The final one is tomorrow, the 400 freestyle relay. So as we're looking ahead, what you might see happen is East Ridge getting first, Eagan getting second. And then we'll read off the point totals from that. So easily one of the most hyped things ever done was 2 years ago. It went down to that final race, and it was Rosemont and Eagan tied going into this last event, and it just, everything needed to happen. And went down to this final race, and Jackson Keller anchored that, and Eagan was able to squeak out its 8th straight section title. So it's always fun when it comes down to that final race. So tomorrow will be tomorrow it will come down to diving, which is a little bit unusual. So once again, as the boys are preparing, there's always a little bit of a break here. Thanks to Margie Broman on camera 1 and getting me extra water here in the last final seconds of the night. Thank you to Joe Conlon. Always a joy to be with him. It's fun seeing him producing, directing, and having all the monitors going, and appreciate his service to the community. And Paul Keller just being a pillar of this Eagan swim and dive for the last 5 years, working the scores table. His wife served as many terms as possible on the Booster Club as a secretary, does so much work behind the scenes. Paul is just a quintessential tech guy that, you know, someday his kids will really realize what the amount of time and effort they put into it to create the memories that he gave both Jackson and Thomas. And they have a son who's fantastic in the drama and singing program, and their daughters are fantastic in that as well. So he'll be sticking around, I'm guessing. He'll, you know, the Eagan swim and dive thing, you can't get rid of us. I mean, it's been 15 years for Margie and I, and we're still sticking around. So expect Paul to stick around. But this is fun as we're getting ready for this last event. It's a lot of hype going on. A little shout out to the boys who are going to carry a big weight on their shoulders for Eagan next year. Vidhan Shrista, I say that because he has an older brother. He knows what Eagan swim and dive culture is all about. Miggy San Jose, dude, you got a lot to carry on. You're going to be a leader. You got to do it. Derek Bango, your older brother, has been doing a lot. Look at your parents. They're volunteer extraordinaires. Keep the culture going. Dobbin Chong, you're coming on strong. You got to carry this as well. So many other people, but the reason I say call out those 4 guys is that they have family that have gone before them. They have older guys from club that they know what this culture is like. They've lived the legacy, and they got to continue it on, because it's, with the last couple of crazy years, you really got to take it next level and make sure it continues on, because stuff will become normal again, and we need the work. So, boy, it's good seeing Scott Pearson, the coach of Apple Valley, down there on deck, always smiling. Father of 9, he does the magic. I'm telling you, that is fantastic. You know, for the 400-yard free relay, it is going, let me read the guys, because it's going to get crazy. In Apple Valley is lane 1, Jovan Langseth, Josh Lee, Bridger Cook, Gabe Lenzen. For Hastings in lane 2, Taylor Schmalz, Tristan Herbst, Adam Dewar, Oliver Gergen. Lane 3 is Rosemount, Will Durfee, Nolan Hansen, Noah Shranosky. 4th swimmer, Sawyer Smith, Eastridge. Lane 4, Morgan Gillard, Neil Abrahamson, Aiden Haverman, Nathan Langstrade. Eagan is Derek Bango. In lane 5, Dobbin Chong, Louis Decatois, Miggy San Jose. For Park, it's Parker Jesuritz. In lane 6, Mason Darling, Jack Schweigert, Mitch LeMay. For Woodbury in lane 7 will be Grant McElwain, Raymond Webb, Aiden Sau, Derek Stadheim. Eastview is Alex Schmidt, Ethan Beckman, Owen Unton, and Jacob Linscheid. So in the water right now in lane 1 for Apple Valley is Jovan Langseth. Lane 2, Taylor Schmitz. Lane 3 for Rosemount, Will Durfee. Lane 4, Morgan Gillard. Lane 5, Egan's Derek Bango. Lane 6, Park is Parker Jesuritz. Lane 7 for Woodbury is Grant McElwain. Lane 8 is Alex Schmidt. They're coming back, and the race is in the middle. It's going to be Eastview. Eastview, that's Neil Abrahamson on deck for lane 4. Dobbin Chong is in the water in lane 5. Lane 3 is Nolan Hansen. Lane 2 diving in, Tristan Herbst. Josh Lee in lane 1 for Apple Valley. Park and Mason Darling. Lane 7, Raymond Webb. Lane 8 is Ethan Beckman. Your second swimmers are all in the water. And the race is right now being led by Neil Abrahamson for East Ridge. And who is in second, you ask? It is not Eagan right now. It is Rosemount's Nolan Hansen. So we got a little bit of making up to do, Dobbin Shong. So we'll see what's going on now. So on deck, getting ready to dive in lane 4 is Aiden Haberman. And lane 3 is Noah Shranosky. The top 2 finishers go to state. Louis Decatois is in for Eagan. Diving in lane 1 is Bridger Cook. Lane 2 is Adam Dewar. Lane 6 is Jack Schweigert. Lane 7 is Aiden Sau. Lane 8 is Owen Unton. Where are we at? Eagan has a bit of catching up to do. It's going to be some big work needs to be done here by Decatois. And then Miggy San Jose will have some work to do as well. It's about a 2 body lengths that's going to have to happen for the Eagan Wildcats to make the magic happen. And on the blocks right now, and for lane 4 is Nathan Langstraight. He's diving in the water. In lane 3 is Sawyer Smith. Lane 4 is Miggy San Jose for the Wildcats, needing to do some magic here. Miggy kicking like crazy and trying to get this stuff happening. Lane 1 is Gabe Lenzen. Lane 2 is Oliver Gergen. Lane 5 for Park is Mitch LeMay. Lane 7 for Woodbury is Derek Stadheim. Lane 8 is Jacob Linscheid. Where you at, Miggy? Miggy is not going to be able to pull the rabbit out of they had in the last 100. So Eagan looks like they'll be getting third, but they'll swim it out and see what happens. But it will be East Ridge finishing this off in a strong fashion. They will break their seed time of 3:10.93, and they broke the section record. The section record was previously held by Egan's Jackson Keller, Hans Broben, Caden Keene, and Colin Kehoe. So the 4-year-old state section record goes down. Congratulations to East Ridge. And the other qualifier will be 3:15.23. So so what a meet that was. So it isn't over. Like I said, there's diving tomorrow. I did fail to mention who the section champ was last year. It was East Ridge, and 3 of the same swimmers. It was a 3:12.65, Becker, Abrahamson, Langstraight, and Gillard. The section record was set in 2019 with a 3:11.14 by Jackson Keller, Hans Broman, Caden Keene, and Colin Kehoe. As I mentioned, the 4-year-old record was broken. The new time is a 3:10.93. 3:10.93. So congratulations to East Ridge making the magic happen. So we are just waiting for the final results of this. So we will know all of the scores except for diving. And diving will happen at 10:30 tomorrow at Dakota Hills Middle School. Love to see you there. Show up. It will not be broadcast online. And thank you, Paul Keller. And you have the total points after? All right, we will wait for the medal ceremony. We do not have total points. That came up after 12 events, so we'll have to wait to see if that happens or not. Otherwise, we will just listen intently. I will write it down feverishly, and we'll go from there. All right, we're tabulating and chugging the numbers right now. All right, so where we're at is East Ridge through event 12 is in first place with 412. Eagan is at 379. Rosemount is at 370 in third place. Park is in fourth place with 215. Hastings in fifth place, 183. Apple Valley in sixth place at 141. Tied with Woodbury with 141, and Eastview is in eighth place with 107. So I mentioned that magic number is 40, and you do the math with a 379 and a 412, that makes it 43. So Amy Carlson has work cut out for her and her divers tomorrow. But once again, that is just projection and rubbing the temple. So over to the medal ceremony.
Owen Uten and Owen Kunisaki. In seventh place from Woodbury, Aiden Sow, Raymond Webb, Grant McElwain, and Derek Stadheim. In sixth place from Apple Valley, Jovan Langseth, Gabe Lenzen, Bridger Cook, and Josh Lee. In fifth place, the team from Hastings, Taylor Schmaltz, Tristan Herbst, Adam Dewar, and Oliver Gergen. In fourth place, the team from Park, Parker Jesuits, Mason Darling, Jack Schweigert, and Mitch LeMay. In third place, the team from Eagan, Derek Obang, Louis Decatois, Dobbin Chong, and Miguel San Jose. In second place, heading to state with a time of 3:15:23, the team from Rosemont, Noah Sranaski, Sullivan Labno, Sawyer Smith, and Matt Warwig. And your 2023 Section 3AA relay team with a new section record time of 3:10:93. The team from Eastridge, Morgan Gillard, Neil Abramson, Aiden Haverman, and Nathan Langstrot.
All right, folks, so as I mentioned, through event 12, now that we've had the medal ceremony for the medal ceremonies, like I mentioned, the East Ridge now through event 12 is in first place with 412. Eagan is in second place at 379. So this is not the end of the meet. There is no diving well here at Blue Water, so we'll have to continue on tomorrow. And the magic number was within 40. And doing the math here, 412 minus 379, you carry the 1, you get 33. So if I rub my temples and if I was a betting man, I am not a betting man, especially in the MSHSL sports, because I'd like to volunteer and do this again with Joe Conlon, but I would say Eagan will win the section. And how special would that be for Eagan to gather the section title trophy at their pool? That would be the first time in the history. They were 8-time straight section champs. East Ridge got it last year. We'll give it to them last year. Maybe we'll take it this year, but we'll just have to see. But special thank you to Eagan TV. Joe Conlon being the director and producer, always doing fabulous work. Margie Broman on camera 1. Paul Keller, project manager, camera 2. And being the gopher, it was just a great time. This is Gus Broman for Eagan TV. Have fun, choose joy, and go Wildcats.